I was in that big of a hurry. I just sat down and I forgot to enter into the studio. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. That was not my best work. That was not my best work. Mods, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Donna Cooper's here. Diana. Samantha's here. Todd, Scott, Turkey and Chicken and I are ready for some great stuff. If that's not the cutest thing, look at how bad my hair looks today. You can tell it's time for a cut. Should we flip it? Let's just do that. Maybe we should try something new. Sam, I'm so glad that you're here, and I haven't gotten over the turkey and chicken thing. And I don't think anybody else has either. I love that you're here, guys. My sister is here. DNV, Panda made it. Old Charlie, hey, honey Lou. Liz Tricks, just Joan. Jojo made it. Robin Miners, I'm already hot, so I'm going to have to put my hair up anyway. Debbie Zito, love you, babe. And thank you again, Debbie Zito, for helping me. Let's see. Oh, Jessica LaBarbera, I'm glad you're here, girl. Hey, Deborah Ricci. Christy Lynn Wilson. Aspire to Inspire. Rhonda Frank, you made it today. I'm glad you really brought a lot to the table yesterday, Rhonda. Hey, Alana. Looking forward to tomorrow, Alana, to hear the news. Hope Between the Dreams. Thanks, Kestrel. Hey, Alicia. Elena Rainerman made it. I love that you made it. Hey, Just As I Am. West Coast Fancy Nancy is almost off work. Joel Sachs made it. Joel, I love that you made it. You don't always make it. He's in South Africa. Viggy Cat, Aline, Buffy. Thanks, Rhonda Frank. Do you guys remember this shirt? I forgot about it. I got it in that vintage shop. It's got to go up anyway. I got it in that vintage shop in Kansas City, if you remember. And I think it's homemade. It doesn't have a tag or anything. And the seams look kind of homemade. It's a little snug, but I love the colors, and summer is almost over. And this is a summer shirt. Hey, Shannon's Journey. Hey, Trixie. That's okay. Trixie's going to be cleaning her bathroom like a Scientologist. Marie Marian. Muffet Lou, Naomi Hales. It has been a while. Welcome in. I've missed you, girl. I'm glad that you're here. Hey, Iwa, Martin. Thank you, Martin. You know, you have missed class a lot lately, and I'm glad to see you. Angie Moe never misses class. Be more like Angie Moe, Martin, would you? Even though you're in Denmark. Tammy Kennelly, Riley's Human. I love that you're here, babe. It's okay. I know that you had swim class the other night. Jan, Angie. Next time you guys doubt that I know my class, I know my class. I know my customers. Thanks, Kestrel. Hey, Carolyn Cotter. Got the news, not good news. That sucks. Oh, man, I was really pushing for that, Alana. You would have been perfect for it. I'm sorry. Another door will open, girl. You're amazing. I'm sorry. That sucks. Lacey Silver. Suzanne R2 Chihuahua. Suzanne Reck made it. Today is your mother's 89th birthday. Happy birthday to your mom. That's so cute, Riley's Human. And early birthday to your dad. That's so cute. God, that's sweet that you still have your parents. I love that. Wow. Do you want to come sit up here? Wow. Good God, Gloria. Gloria had to go back to the vet today, and it was really a drama fest. Katie did it. It's 30 minutes to midnight here, and this is an early stream. Martin, okay, go to bed. We'll miss you. I'm sorry. I guess I need to do an earlier stream for my people across the world. I really will consider that. How early? Like I could do 3:00. Would that work? Peter, welcome. Scientology crimes. Please unblock my normal channel, Fat Grammy, so I can chat from. Babe, it's not that you're blocked. Do you know how many people are blocked on my channel? We're missing Jamie Castro, Marsha Laird. There's a lot of people that are blocked that are not blocked. It's a YouTube glitch, and I cannot get you out. I have tried and tried. I've even sent emails to YouTube to try to walk me through this. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm so sorry. Hope, she's pretty traumatized. We got the dew claws trimmed. They trimmed them too short. Armine, We're pretty upset, aren't we? We're very upset about it. Oh, wow. We looked at her potty area. We looked at the pee-pee area. And then we trimmed the dew claws. Lisa Kelson, Catherine B, we trimmed the dew claws and they cut them too short. And of course, hey, Swiss P, she's was bleeding like crazy, really upset everybody. But the tech was so cute. She called us back and she goes, "Oh, I know who that is." And I said, "Of course you do." So we took a look at her. The vet said to put hydrocortisone cream on her pee-pee area. Hey, Linda G. And he said, it's just a minor skin irritation. And I said, nothing's minor when it comes to this one. Nothing's minor at all when it comes to Peregrine. And don't ever use those words again. Nothing's minor. It's always major and dramatic. It's sad because Bo could be bleeding to death. Hey, Lee Sane. Hey, Joanne Hawley. But Gertie has a minor skin irritation. And I call the vet and I'm like, please, you have to work us in today. She's scratching it. I know. But it was the cutest thing. At the end, the girl goes, Naomi Hales, congratulations. Got married. That's awesome. Was this your first one? Kestrel, the vet, said that it's okay to lick the hydro cream as long as it's not too much. He said it was perfectly all right. That was the first thing I asked. Is this your first wedding? Because you only get a few of those. So at the end, she goes, we're not going to charge you for this visit. And I said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Wow, Naomi Hales, that's fantastic. Congrats, babe. And hey, Sharon HL, I've missed you. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? No. The girl goes, we're not going to charge you for this. And I said, that is so nice. Thank you. And she goes, she's really special. About Pamela. She said, Pamela, hey, baby steps. Baby steps, it was a joke. Hey, P. Taylor. Oh, my God, you're so dainty. Did you know this? I said, do you know her birth story? And that's when it got weird. Of course, you know. You know, it got weird. She was like holding the clipboard, trying to shoo me out the door. Hey, Aunt Nene Hobbs, welcome in. I love seeing people we haven't seen in a while. She's got the clipboard and she's like, hey, Copper Top, literally trying to shoo me out the door. And I was like, do you know her birth story? I felt like I was like, do you know the Lord? Hey, Love and Life. And she was like, no, I don't know it. You know how people are like uncomfortable and they want to shoo you out like as quick as possible. And so she was like looking at the door, like her eyes were going back and forth. And she was like, no, I hadn't heard it. Like you could tell she was really uncomf. And I was like, well, K-Fic, I love seeing you in here. I said, the reason she's so special, I'm glad you brought it up. I said, Peregrine was born in a manger, but not just any manger, the one that was also the birthing of Christ. And they were both born together on a Thursday night. Christ was there. And that's what happened. And this poor girl, she must have been like 25. She was like, wow. And I could totally tell that she was like, we're going to put a note on her chart that like no one can be alone in a room. We have to have at least 2 employees together with her. I'm sure of it. Hey, whine a little bit more. It was unbelievable. It was so, you could see, I wish I had that on tape. She was so uncomf. I said, she was not just any manger, the manger. I said, she was born next to Christ on a Thursday. Reflections, Lindy. And I said, so, you know, that whole, when they put like the time AD, that also includes her. And I said, I don't know if you go to church, but Rachel, Sandy, and Dark Roast. Hey, Renee B. I said, she is in every Bible study every Sunday after death of Christ. I said, she's part of it. She's in the Bible studies at every church in this world. And it's a big deal, you know? So, and she was like, it was so awkward. This poor girl did not know. Like, that would be a fun show to have right there. And just, thanks, Iwa. Hey, Susan Cook. Just a fun show to have right there to like drop those kinds of bangers on people and keep a straight face. and see how they handle it. Cause I mean, you know me, guys. Like, I didn't know, I was looking like a nutty bird. I was like, so I even went on, like, she was really trying to put her foot like halfway out the door. I was trying to keep her on purpose. And I was like, so the Lord said, hey, Candace, I was like, when the Lord said, let there be light, I said, you may or may not know this fun little factoid. Hey, Lenora Gray, I said right before he spoke light into the world, I said, she strangely looks like a frosted mini wheat with eyes. And I said, the Lord said, let there be frosted mini wheats with eyeballs. And I said, that was before there was light. It's a fun fact. It's interesting and backed by science based on true events. So that's what's happening. And she just said, lumen. Yeah. So the whole time she's doing that weird thing where like you look like you've been embalmed, you know how like your skin stretches. She was like, like it was uncomp. I was like, you might want to like move your face a little bit. You look like you got embalmed last Wednesday. Anyway, so that was that. And we left and they didn't charge us. And I thought that was super nice. Saved us $1. Thank you, Lindy. Anyway, so that's that story. You always have to tell a different story when you're going into some, I know she's like, interesting. What a psycho of a woman. I know Cindy Schweitzer, but you know what? It really is her birth story. And whether I jazz it up a little bit or not, Naomi Hales, I got a new tattoo. It's got a fox on it, and then it has some flowers. Hey, Critters Creations. Okay. Are you freaking people out again? Not intentionally, Renee B, but it does tend to happen whenever you're around me. I blame Scientology, guys. I think that I just never really knew how to be, and I still don't. We're dipping our feet. We're getting them wet. We're really trying to be a part of this world. Yeah, I could, Martin. Kestrel. So that's that. And I actually have something that I want to discuss that's very different than that story. Can you guys remind me to drink water? I'm really trying to be good at it. Thank you. I love to make you guys laugh. I love to give you a little zinger before we get into the heavy stuff. And no one's better at switching from, I'm kind of like a news person. I saw a stand-up once that is so true. Like news people are like have to be crazy and like super manic and like have ups and downs because it's true that they're like, and like the people had a great time on the ride, but tonight at 9, you could like, what did she say? She said, it could be the most deadly thing in the world and you might be eating it for dinner. We'll tell you more about that tonight at 9. But next, where to get the cheesiest pizza in town. Like it's crazy, but it's so true. I feel like I dropped those bangers on you guys. Thank you, Rachel. Hey, Ty Mark, welcome in. I missed a super chat, didn't I? From Deborah Ricci. Aveeno cortisone cream is amazing for healing and anti-itch. I didn't know Aveeno, that brand, made a cortisone cream. Interesting. Okay, well, I have to run to Target. I got to go into town. Thank you, Ty Mark. And I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. Might have to be this weekend. Hey, Mousy. But I'm going to pick some up. So I didn't know that Aveeno made one. Sounds wonderful, Deborah Ricci, and I'll pick some up. Thank you for super chatting that, girl. Okay. Hey, Miss Sassafras. So I want to get into something serious, actually. And there's no better way to get into something serious than, Lindy, I'm really glad you made it, girl, than leaving it on a funny note. So I want to talk about something that it's not necessarily, well, is it serious or is it heavy? Hey, MLG Gamer. First of all, I noticed something. I've been noting, well, Ghost Rider made it too. Going to town phrase is only heard in flyover country. I wish I didn't have to utter those words, Jessica LaBarber, but I hate it. Hey, I've got words. Welcome in. Okay, Lumen, good to know. Yeah, I hate that I have to go into town. It really sucks. I don't like it, but it's just the way it is. It's the way the Lord has it right now. Baby Steps just gifted memberships, guys. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate when you gift memberships. The crowd goes wild. Thank you for doing that, baby steps. That's very kind of you, my friend, and I love you. Thank you. Jessica LaBarber. So I first before I get into this, I want to say I feel like my hair looks really bad. And you know how I get about my hair. I just get like it's so flat. And you guys know that I like volume. You're so vain. Geez, that's even worse. Good Lord, girl. Okay, Muffet Lou. You're funny, Muffet Lou. Just went back and looked. Thanks, Hope Between the Dreams. Hey, Margie Barr. Yeah, Buffy. So the higher the hair, the closer to God. I know, and I feel like it's flat. And the flatter the hair, the closer to the two-headed dog at the gates of hell. There we go. Maybe that way? I don't know. We need to see what Joe Virus weighs in on. So I love you, K-Fic. Wow, guys, we have a new person. Holy crap, there's a new person. I never get new people. Look at Lori. Plus, she's super cute. Love your personality. Just found your channel? No way. Did someone tell her to come in here? No one new finds my channel. How do you just find my channel, Lori? It's buried and dead underground. Lori, we don't want to scare you off, but I hope you come back. And thank you for coming in. Wowee. Kay Thompson. I'm a bit achy. Okay. Well, you just chill out, babe, and lay on a heating pad. It's why you're achy? Because you teach those children and they wear you out and they suck the life out of you. We know why. You don't have to say it, Kay. I'll say it for you. Oh, it's a 3-headed dog. Thanks, Alana. Okay. Yeah, Lori's new, guys. Welcome her in. So I have to say something. I have to say this because you guys know me. I have to process things with you, and I don't even know I don't know how to put this yet. I have the concept, but I don't have the words, and sometimes that happens to me. That is exciting, Aunt Nene Hobbs. I feel extremely different in the last couple of weeks. You did, Time Mark. I feel very different in weird ways. Like, yeah, Kestrel. My blush is it's shiny intentionally, Kestrel, because I have on a really high shine highlighter today that's supposed to be like an iridescent kind of holographic look. And it's got a tint of purple to it because I was trying to offset the glasses in the top. So it's, hey, Linda G. I already said hi to you, didn't I? It's okay. I meant to again. So that's why it's not blush, Kestrel. It's a topper. It's a highlighter. And I did that intentionally. Maybe if I take the light off of me a little bit, is that better? No. I'm going to move on from it. Thanks, Kestrel. Hey, Katie Fulton. Okay, so hey, Mona. I feel like I haven't seen you for a minute. Thank you, Tammy. So I don't know how else to put this other than in the last several, Patty. Welcome in, Patty and Lori Riston. I'm really glad you're here. We are a great group of friends. Good, weird, Jojo. Yes. Thanks, Kestrel. So I think it must be a God thing for me, but like, hey, baby lily pad, the last few weeks I have felt different as far as my viewpoint on things has shifted. I feel more opened up about just people and like working on myself, and the cats are fighting. I feel less room for like, is the word animosity? I never use that word, but I feel less room for that. Like, I just feel way more like I'm well, thanks, Rhonda Frank. I feel like I've blown past this. Like, I feel like I reached a stage. Pam Fredette, I love you too. Thanks for being a member, Pam. What an angel. Thank you, Deborah Ricci. Thanks, Dawn. I just, it's like, I feel like things were kind of like this for me in some capacity. And now I feel a little bit more just like things have relaxed. And that's made me grow and more able to see things more clearly, if that makes sense. Yes, Shelly says you sound lighter. Yeah, Shelly, I feel less intense and heavy. I feel more like, hey, Rain, like there's just like I feel more like there's a flow. There's like this energy flow, and I'm able to see things a little bit differently. And I think one of the biggest reasons, if I had to guess, is because I'm starting to feel more as a non-Scientologist. All those feelings, Timar, great thing to say. Sounds like you were at peace. All of those feelings were dead. You guys say Scientologists are dead behind the eyes. Yeah, Diana H. Alignment, copper top. Yes. I feel divine, aligned, and right on time. All of those, cute, Rain, all of those feelings, all those dead behind the eyes, Scientologists truly are dead behind the eyes. They're also dead behind the heart. And it's not their fault. They are, I'm going to have to do something. They are, yeah, a weight off your shoulders with maybe speaking about Scientology. Thanks, Mona. Jeez. Less having the world against you, being part of your being part of your surroundings. Yes, I feel more like I'm in the present. Geez, I really didn't give this enough thought. More in the present moment, if that makes sense. But here's the thing. I think I'm realizing something. Most of you know I was, as a child, we started very young at bullbait. Bullbaiting is to deaden a person's, desensitize people at a young age in Scientology. Hey, Irish Mart. And it removes, Mona, thanks for being a member, babe. Guys, I really appreciate that. Do you feel more connected with nature, grounded? It's not so much with nature, Rachel, but yes, I feel more grounded. I feel like I know myself a little better. But what I was going to say is, yeah, Jojo, and it's helping. You've been opening up about a lot of different emotions lately. Well, I think that's helping. And reconnecting with my sister Sam for sure, something that I thought would never happen. And so you're right there, Renee. And I know I tried to do it right for Joe, Rain, and it's just not happening today. I think I'm starting to wake up a lot of those feelings that were totally pushed down and desensitized. I'm starting to see things. Thank you for that. Yeah, you're welcome, Sam. Of course, I'm glad you're still here. But there's a story I want to specifically talk about. And I've been specifically talking about some Scientology stories. I love that, Scientology crimes. I would love that. Thank you. I have a Scientology, yes, Angie Mo, I have a Scientology story that I want to talk about today. And you've heard a lot of it. There's some of it you haven't heard. And okay, this is how I want to say it. I'm sorry that I'm like rambling. It's really hard for me sometimes to get the words out. I don't know if I have some kind of like disability as far as like able to communicate. I don't know. But it's like I have it up here. It's just hard to get it out sometimes. We'll get through it. We always do. We get through the stream and you guys stay with me. And I appreciate it. And I need you in this one. I really need you in this stream because this is a tough one for me. And it always helps to have my family here with me. My eyes, I feel like I am a different person in the last few weeks and I don't know why. But I will tell you, the reason I say that, this story I'm about to tell, it's been on my mind since I've reconnected with Sam and since Sam has talked to me about our father. It's got me thinking things and I couldn't stop thinking last night. And thank you, Callie Galley. Thanks. I've got words. I couldn't stop going down memories. And I was like, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. But it made me extremely emotional. And I was like, I never really cried about this before. I used to just go through. Do you guys remember? Not up till not long ago, I would tell a really like crazy Scientology memory. And it was almost like I was saying like, and then we took the trash out and then it started raining. It was just like bullet points of stuff. And almost I took the emotion out of it even then because I still I was always like, well, that's the way it was, or I was raised that way, guys. It's, I mean, I've cried through stuff, but at the same time, I feel like yes, Jessica LaBarber, I feel like I've changed as far as like, that wasn't right. Why am I telling this story like, ba, 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 ba? It wasn't right. And so I'm looking through new eyes these days and I'm remembering things, and there's so much more thought to it and emotion that I missed before. Guys, we truly were just like on a, okay, Rachel, thanks. We truly were just like numbers, like cogs in a wheel. When you're in Scientology, it is not weird. Hey, Dawn, to get smacked around and then be friends with that person at lunchtime. People still don't understand how I stayed with Dan O'Connor for so long as his friend, because it's not uncommon in Scientology. It's just not. And I was desensitized at such a young age with the bullbait shit going on. So it's just not that weird. We're trained to ignore every trigger, every red flag, every bell and whistle and alarm. When I was 7, oh, you are, Renee B. Baby steps, you've spoken deeply about very hard topics lately. That and being closer to God has probably lifted you up and made your burden lighter. 100%. I know that's the truth. I don't doubt that at all. I know that's why. Thank you, Baby Steps, for pointing that out. Thank you for the super chat. And I'm glad you're here today. Love you, Katie did it. Iwa, 100%. When I was 7, and I'm just going to run through this real quick, but I'm just giving you an example. I was at the Scientology org. I might have been 8. It was after the Sea Org. I was at the Scientology org in Kansas City. I was in the course room, and I had a grown man that was my father's age bullbaiting me. This is nothing new. It's happening right now as I speak. It's nothing new. Happens to everybody. And he was between my legs on the floor pretending to perform oral sex on me. I had to sit through that, and I had to pretend and harden my every bell, whistle, alarm, and everything was going off. I was doing this in the chair, and I would I would flunk every time. And the supervisor would go, "Come on, Reese, let's get through this. Get your TRs in. Let's get through this. Okay. Come on, start." And I cried. Like, it was really hard for me to get through that drill. The point is, that one instance was, I've done that for thousands of hours. Okay. But that one instance teaches you to ignore and suppress, hey, Jessamine, all of your natural intuition. It teaches you to freeze response. It's a learned freeze response, right? And then it also teaches you to let people cross your boundaries. It literally teaches you to ignore your emotions and your boundaries. It truly does deaden you. It truly does set you up to fail in life, as far as letting people walk all over you, letting people do things that are alarming when other people look at you and go, "Why would you let someone do that to you?" You're like, meh. Like Dan O'Connor hitting me over the head with a fax machine, and then me being friends with Dan forever after that. People are like, "You stayed friends with him?" And it's like, meh, yeah, because that's what we do. Like, you are specifically taught to ignore every single gut feeling, every red flag. Numbed. You are desensitized. You're very robotic. Hey, Squirrel Girl, I heard of people committing suicide. And literally, Scientologists would be like, "Well, catch you on the flip side." Bummer. Like, totally desensitized to it. People dying. People would die of cancer in Scientology. And they were like, "Well, wish them well. See you on the other side. See you when you come back. See you when you get back." Like, no one cares. There is nothing you could throw at us where people would be like, "What? Are you hearing this?" Nobody acts like that in Scientology. Like, everyone's like, "You just got diagnosed with cancer? That sucks, but you might want to start looking at some, pregnant bodies to go pick up a new one. Do you have a plan? Do you know where you want to go?" I'm not kidding. It's absolutely bizarre. Oh my flipping God. Some of this may be a little hard for me to listen to and not want to handle. Sam, you can step out. I totally understand. And guys, anybody should step out. This is always the space where, if it's triggering for you, please, mental health, mental wellness, self-care comes first. Always, always, always. Okay. So that's a good point. That's a great point. This story makes me so mad. How are these different from what is it Ghislaine? I think it's Ghislaine. Maxwell did. In fact, it's worse. For all Scientology trying to normalize this, they need to be charged. Yeah, I agree with this. And that's why, Time Arc, we're talking about it more and more. And I think that now is the time. I never really talked about this stuff, if you notice, at the beginning of my channel. And it's hard for me. It's hard for me to bring up these memories and talk about it, but I have to do it. And it's really important because we have to educate people on what this psychotic cult really is and how it breaks up families and what it does to kids, right? So that's not the point of today. That's me being a child, I mean, but I'm giving you the example of that man when I was 7 or 8 years old doing that to me. It's old hat. By the time I'm 20, 30, it's like we have been bulldozed and steamrolled so many times. I'm not kidding. People would die and we'd be like, Dave died? That sucks. Oh crap, we're going to be late for roll call. Let's go. Like, that's Scientology. That's just another day in Scientology. Our dad was very much that way. Gene Wally was very much that way. So since I've talked to Sam, it has gotten me thinking up memories of our dad. And what I want to talk about specifically today, yeah, Deborah Ricci, you're exercising your demons and cleansing your spirit. I like that. So this is tough for me, but I want to talk about this today. It's really important. Okay. I never looked at certain things the way I looked at them today. So it's like I'm looking through fresh eyes or something. I don't look at them anymore and go, yeah, it was really bad. Bummer. That's how I've looked at my whole life. When you guys go, what did that guy do? I go, yeah, I mean, that was normal. I'm not feeling that so much anymore. I feel a little more outraged and I feel a little bit more sensitive to it versus desensitized. I feel a little bit more like, hey, Peggy Collins, like, what? I think I'm fighting for almost a child in me now more. You know, there's two people. We got to remember this. There's two people you have to be cool with in your life. And it's not who you think it is. It's the 7-year-old version of you and it's the 90-year-old version of you. You got to be cool with those two people. They have to be cool with you. And I've not been okay with my childhood. And I think it's important to talk about this and stand up and kind of use my voice a little bit more. Hey, Air Supply. So the point of what I'm about, not the point, the story I want to tell is that of how twisted I think. I think there was some serious corruption, and I think I realized it today. And I think I was seriously manipulated in this particular story. Hey, Miss Mary, and it's uncomfortable for me, and I want to talk about it, and I want to go through the motions of it, and I really want to get this out because it's odd. And I've gone over this story, I've recalled this story, and I've never looked at it the way I looked at it today through a different set of eyes. For whatever reason, I'm looking at things differently. So the story is, I've never actually told it like this, and I hope that you guys are willing to sit with me through this. I'm trying to think of where do I start this so that I don't start and then have to go back. After what happened with Sam in Omaha, and I moved in with my mom in Kansas City, I ended up getting my own apartment. It was my first apartment. It was incredibly, hey, always late. Good to see you. It was my first apartment. I was really excited about it. I got this apartment when I was 19. I was across the street from my mom's apartment. She had an apartment. And that was when I really probably started to, I had a really rough time at that age. I was obviously did that thing of drugs. And I think that's kind of where things started to land for me, that like, I really miss my dad and I would like him in my life. Hey, Marissa Martin, baby steps. Even the Scientology is extraordinary. It disgusts me. It also makes me in awe of those who have come out with even a bit of humanity. You are amazing. The sweet, innocent babies need to be fought for. I love you, baby steps. And that's exactly why I love this woman and our family. I love that you're a part of this. And she's right. And I do think that we're going to go places. We're going to make a difference. We're doing it now, but it has to be talked about. It has to be said. And I have so much proof. Like it's not even deniable stuff. I have proof of all of the things I talk about. That makes it harder too for these people, for these evil Scientologists. Baby steps. Thank you for being with us, for backing that and the super chat. I love you, girl. So I get this apartment. Yeah, Kestrel. And I'm really loving my life. I worked 2 jobs and I got my Chihuahua, Gary, and I had a cat that I went and rescued. And for the first time, I started to feel kind of like I came into my own, like nobody's going to come take anything away from me. I get to be here on my own. There was upsides to it, but there were downsides to it. And I had already gone through the drug phase. Well, what happened next? I started using sex to cope. So I started letting people use me and hey, Blue Girl, thank you. I was letting guys use me. Susan Cook, I love that you're here, babe. Thank you for the super sticker. That's really nice of you, Susan. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Heather. I just read that. You don't have to send me anything, Heather. I love you. No, Susan Cook, I can't. That's a great example. Thank you. So I was really enjoying my life. I was just getting back in touch with Dan O'Connor. And at that time, I was really feeling like I was missing my Scientology family. And so Dan reached out to me and said, hey, why don't you come into the org? And I did. And I was terrified to come in because the last time I was there basically was when my dad said goodbye. It was the day, the fax machine. Hey, Angel. So he calls me in and I went and sat, hey, Don Davies, in the film room, which is a room where they show films to like people off the streets, but also people who are on course. It's called the film room. And we sat in there for like an hour and a half and he apologized to me and he, this is so effed up to me. When you leave, if you break a contract in Scientology, hey, Sierra Terry, happy birthday, Sierra Terry. I love that. When you leave Scientology, if you leave and break a contract and you don't complete the contract, you get what's called a freeloader's debt. And they mailed it to me at Sam's house a couple of times when I was young. And it was like 280 grand because I broke my contract and I had gotten all those training courses and you have to train as a staff member. So he says to me, he goes, I just want you to know, he goes, I got your freeloader debt wiped clean, like dick swinging it. First of all, I'm a minor, like that would have never held up, but gee, thanks. So he says that he did that. And he's like, we want you to come back. He goes, you'd have to do lower conditions, but he goes, we'll just get that taken care of real fast. Sorry, guys. It sounded like a car just pulled up to my driveway. My camera's not going off, so we're good, I think. But if it does, I may have to get up. That was weird. I have a really long driveway to the road, so that was like unusually close. But I have cameras all around the house, so it would be going off. So Dan says to me, you need to do a lower conditions, but we'll just get through that real quick. And he's like, we want you to come back. And I was like, come back how? In what capacity? Like, I'd love to come back. I miss my friends, but come back how? And he's like, I want you to come finish your staff contract. And he's like, I want you to work for me. And he's like, I wouldn't just pick anybody. He goes, I want you to be my personal assistant. Jessamine, my cameras would be going off, I promise, if a car pulled up. And, but thank you, babe. He goes, I want you to be my personal assistant. And he's like, you know, it's a pretty prestigious thing. And I was like, yeah. I said, well, I have 2 jobs already. And I was like, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, hell no, because I know I was on staff. I know the schedule. I know the hours. I know how awful it is. So I'm just trying to back out slowly. And I was like, I already have 2 jobs and I have my own apartment. And like, you're not taking my freedom. I just got it, basically, is kind of what I'm thinking. And what ended up happening, and this is not that important to the story I'm about to tell, but I'm just kind of going back a little so you can paint the picture. I ended up being what's called a volunteer staff member. So I was like, I'll come in, I'll do work for you, I'll work with you, but I don't want to sign a contract again. And he's like, okay, fine. I haven't been getting notifications and also been super sick, but finally figured out what's going on. I will have at least one surgery, but this is something that will hopefully change my life. Hope. That makes me sad. Does that have to do with your migraines? You don't have to tell us. You can private message me if you want to tell me. I don't expect you to put that here. That's really rough, girl. Thoughts, and definitely if you guys pray, excuse me, prayers for hope. I did not know that. You'll have to let us know when the surgery's coming. Definitely healing vibes for you, babe. I love hope. Thank you for the super chat and telling us. We love hope between the dreams. Hey, Anna Banana. So, okay, now my camera just went off. Okay, nope, it always goes off on my car. My car, it picks up all the time and it goes vehicle. Nope, it's just my car. Okay. Anna Banana, that's amazing. Her grandson's coming home today. That's a huge deal. That's incredible. Okay, Hope. Yeah, please do. Only if you feel comfortable doing so. I'm not trying to ask you for information. You do what's comfortable. I'm not crossing a boundary with you. So for the next couple of years, I slept with a lot of really toxic men that were not in Scientology. And on some weekends, I dabbled in trying to, like, Dan, when he sat with me in that film room, the thing that I thought about, this is what kicked this all off. Dan said to me, if you come work for me, he was like, who knows, your dad might come back into your life. And that really made me sad. Looking at that today, I'm like, what a disgusting, manipulative thing to say to a kid who lost her dad, that to put hope there like that by using me to say, if you come work for me, I might be. It's like Harvey Weinstein shit to me. It's like, if you do this, you might get a big part in this. Like, he knew the biggest thing missing in my life was my father. He knew that was my ruin. That's what we call it in Scientology. When you say find their ruin, it's like if you were to say, something terrible happened to me as a child. What was it? So you pull the string. What was it? Well, this happened and I was abused, and oh my, Scientology can help with that. You find their ruin. So he's dangling this father carrot. And he's like, who knows? He's like, I might be able to orchestrate something and get you to like a lunch or something. Maybe you could talk. Like, it's so gross to me that he did that looking back. But at the time, guys, I didn't think any of this was abnormal at the time, right? He preyed on me. He's a predator. Yes, Lumen. So it all starts there. And so he gets this idea in my head. And I'm like, okay. So I start volunteering and doing shit. But I'm also like, I have 2 jobs that are not Scientology. I worked in a corporate building at night cleaning, and I worked during the day for ophthalmologists. So I loved my apartment. I loved my place. I worked right next to a hospital, and my apartment was like 6-minute drive. Hey, Kathy Burkhart. So on my lunch breaks, I would go home and see my chihuahua. I would sit there and smoke cigarettes and eat some hummus, and then I would go back to work. It was great. So I'm just explaining you this because, like, I was in my own happy little bubble. I wasn't loving life, I'm sure, because I was sleeping with random dudes, and I had a boyfriend that was a raging alcoholic and pill popper. And I don't know why I stayed with that guy. He cheated on me all the time. He worked for the railroad. And that was my life for a while, right? Okay. So fast forward to my dad. Someone told me at the org when I was like 22. I don't know. I might have been 22. I might have been 21. I could have been 23. I don't know. But in those years, someone told me he got divorced. from this woman that, hold on. Hey, Lilac Lime. Okay, same thing. My camera just said vehicle, but it's my car. He got divorced from this woman, his third wife, who had 5 kids. So I was like, no way. He got divorced from her. Like, I was shocked by this. She was OT8. She hated me. And I got the guts to call my dad. I said, I'm going to call him. He got divorced. I've been emailing him every year on Father's Day. Every year. I never missed a Father's Day email. And he would write me back and say, don't ever call me again. Don't ever write to me again. Don't call me dad. He'd give me the same shit every year. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I hate Bridget Junk. I was like, I volunteer on staff here. I'm a Scientologist in good standing. I have 2 jobs. I make good money. I have a car payment. Like, I was really proud of myself at that young age. I was paying my own bills. Like, I paid 24% interest on my car loan only because I had no one to co-sign and I wanted to do it myself anyway. Like, I was pretty independent. I was like finding my way, right? I was proud of myself. So I was like, I'm going to call him. What's the worst that happens? He says, don't call me again. I'm not your dad. We've heard that 50 times. I was like kind of getting more and more desensitized to it. So I called him and it was so hard for me. He picked up the phone and my stepsister that I don't know, these 2 girls to this day, he moved to Tennessee to be near them. He's super close to those kids from the woman he divorced. Her name was Courtney. So he picks up the phone and I'm silently crying, right? Like, I'm trying not to cry. And I said, hey, Dad. And I'm like super mousy and scared. And he goes, Courtney? And I was like, no. I said, this isn't Courtney. I said, it's Marisa, because that's what he called me most of the time. And he goes, Marisa? And I said, yeah. And I was like really silently crying. And he goes, I'll never forget. He goes, that is you, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it's me. So I, for this tiny bit of time, like, I don't know, 6 months maybe, started beginning a relationship with my dad. He came to Kansas City on the regular because he had a fishing buddy that he came down and went fishing with all the time anyway. And his sister lived there. And so he would come visit anyway. So I saw my dad for the first time. I met him at a first watch. I met him at my aunt's house, his sister's house, for the first time. And then I met him at a first watch, just one-on-one. And I said, I had the guts and I said, he was so much warmer. He was like willing to talk to me. He was way more loose and like not the dad I remembered. And I said, why? I have to ask you something. I said, and I was still afraid of him. Don't get me wrong. He's very intimidating. And I said, why are you talking to me now? And you haven't for the last like 5 or 6 years. And he blamed, it was such a weak thing to do. I was shocked because I was so intimidated by him. And he blamed it all on the wife. He blamed it all on Kathy, this woman he just divorced. And I said, what? Hey, Helena, thank you. He blamed it all on her. Total cop out. And I was like, really? Because she's OT8. Like, OT8s are not something to put blame on. They're highly respected in Scientology. So it was fishy to me. And I was like, he took no accountability. Like, this, again, it's just people I don't want to be around if you're not going to take accountability for the things you do. And so he's like, it was all her, of course. And I said, why? Like, you're not going to get off that easy. And he goes, it was simple. He goes, she's ethics trained, very highly ethics trained. And he was like, and she's OT8. And he said, she showed me ethics policies all the time as to why I should never speak to you again. And he was like, and that's why. Hey, Vicky Andrews. And, oh, thanks, Liz. That was it. He wouldn't give me, I couldn't pull anything else out of him. So during that time, he would come to Kansas City every once in a while and he'd call me and say, hey, I'm here fishing for the weekend. Do you want, no, I didn't believe it, Ty Mark. he said, do you want to meet up for dinner or whatever? And this became like I said, this might have gone on for a couple of months and then it dropped off. Like he kind of stopped calling, he stopped visiting, and he would call probably like Sam at this point. He would call me like every few months and go, "What are you doing in Scientology?" You know, he'd check in and go, "What events are you attending? What are you volunteering with? Who are you working with?" Like he never asked me anything ever about my life, ever, ever. He didn't even know what I did for a living. So I was 23 and I went to a Scientology fundraiser and I hadn't gone to an event. There was like a good blip in time where I kind of quit coming around again. I was very spotty. I would either like come around and volunteer and get into it, or I'd start dating some guy that I thought was into me and I'd pull back and give all my attention to him for a couple months or whatever, right? Like I was very flighty or whatever, the shady, I don't know what the word is, but like I was either like helping at the org and being a good little Scientologist, and then I would give up and I'd go, he's never going to call me. I'm doing this because of my dad. So I would then pull away and I'd go back to my normal life. So I went to an event one night and I was dating a guy, and it was a Saturday night in November. And I went to this event and it was a fundraiser, and Michael Argis was there. I had not seen Michael Argis since I was on staff when I was 16. He's 5 years younger. So when I first met Michael, he was 9 years old. And he was this cute little kid. And I've told you guys that. That was my first husband. That's Huxley's dad. And he used to sit, oh, happy birthday to your mom, Helena. He used to sit on a couch, and they were very abusive to Michael because he was not able to study much. And he was not a fast student, and he wasn't grasping the material. He didn't go to school. He was not educated. They plopped him on a couch every day of his childhood, and he sat there with a hat on and he would hide. And I would always come and look under his hat, and I'd push up the hat and I'd go, "Hey, you." I'd go, "Michael Argis, what are you doing there?" And I would flirt with him, and nobody paid attention to him. Nobody. And I go to this event and he's standing there in like slacks, a button down shirt, and a tie. And he was 19. And he was 6'3". And I hadn't seen him since I was 16. And I look over and I went, "Michael Argis?" And he was like, "Hey." And I said, "Oh my God." And like we hugged, and I was like, holy crap. Like he was really cute. And I told him that. That was like the first thing I said. I went, "You are so cute." I was like, "Damn, son." I said, "Wow." And he was just like, "Wow." And we were so happy to see each other. And we pretty much started dating like right away. We hung out like a little bit, but then we were like, we like each other. Let's date. And I need to fast forward. I'm dragging my feet. The story is really not that. That was in November. Michael and I got married in January. Okay. We really hit it off. We really liked each other. And we were pretty much glued together at that point. Michael was my best friend through our whole marriage. Like I still am friends with Michael. I got no bad feeling toward Michael. He's not stable because of his upbringing in Scientology. And are you guys following with me? Like, is this a boring story? It's about to get, I know, Shelly, it's about to get unboring here in a second. So I found out in, no, Kestrel, we had sexual chemistry in the beginning. It just changed for me once I realized, hi, Mark, once I realized after we were married how little he knew. That's when the sexual chemistry dropped off. We obviously didn't give it any time to get to know each other. And once I realized a few months in that he was badly abused and he needed to be more kind of mothered, like he'd never paid a bill in his life. He'd never mowed a lawn. So like I buy this house, hey, rocks in a box, and he doesn't know how to do anything. I have to teach him everything. That became very unsexy very fast. Like, I was like, I don't want to sleep with you anymore. Like, I loved him. Hey, Frog Wizard. I was like more motherly to him. And just, it's not, a lot of women would agree with me. It's not a turn on when your man isn't much of a man. Now, that's not Michael's fault. He was a kid. None of this should have happened. I shouldn't have probably married him, right? But like, I also have no regrets there because, uh, oh, good, I've got words. Um, I don't have any regrets there because I'm so glad he's Huxley's father. Like, I wouldn't pick anybody else to be Huxley's father. I also wouldn't change any of this, but it still shouldn't have happened the way it did, right? So I get pregnant. I find out I'm pregnant in April, and I call and I told my dad. And he's like, "Oh, wow, you guys have to move." He's like, "This is great. You guys have to move, though. You can't be in your apartment." I said, "I know. We're going to look for a 2-bedroom." And he's like, "Well, you should buy a house." And I was like, "Oh, I can't afford a house." And he was like, "You're married into a big prestigious Scientology family, right?" And I said, "Yeah, the Argises, you know them." And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, that's a big deal. Everything is status in Scientology." He was so impressed. It was after we were married, Rachel. He was so impressed with my newfound union with the Argises. Like, it was such a big deal to him, right? They were big donors, and Brenda had been on staff for over 35 years. It's such a prestigious status thing, right? And my dad's all about status, okay? So he says, "You're married into the Argis family." And I said, "Yeah, I am." And I looking back, well, we'll talk about that. He goes, "I will help you to buy a house. Like, I will help put a down payment on a house." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." So he did. And he came to Kansas City, and we found this tiny little house that I loved, but God, it was a nightmare. I wish I wouldn't have bought it. No closets. Like, it was 2-bedroom, 1 bath. The whole house was like 860 square feet. Like, it was smaller than my apartment. Hey, Melissa. But I loved it. It was a house that had a really great backyard for my dog. And um, we moved into the house in April. Okay. I told Doug and Brenda, Michael's parents, my new in laws, that we're pregnant, and they were so excited. This is where the story kind of begins. And I'm sorry that we're an hour in. I hope I can keep it to an hour. Yeah, Rachel. So when we told Doug and Brenda, we announced it to them at an Olive Garden. They loved the Olive Garden. And we went to the Olive Garden and we told them I was pregnant. This is where the manipulation that I just realized today, I think, begins. And I want to tell this story because a lot of it hasn't been told. And looking at some of it now, I'm like, this isn't how it went down in my mind. Now I see this through non-Scientology stable person eyes. They do have good breadsticks, Rachel. There you go, rocks in a box. I know. Doug immediately is like, "Oh my God." And he tells me the story. Doug is like the ultimate patriarch. Doug is in charge. Okay. He is like very in charge. He is the ringleader financially, and he just calls the shots. And so he's like, "This is the best news." And he thinks Huxley is his father that died. Doug's father, thank you, Kay. Hey, West Coast again. Doug's father died like in the 80s. I never met the man, and he wasn't a Scientologist. He was some Iowa farmer. Can you hear her snoring? Yeah. So Doug says, "Oh my God, this is the best news. My dad has been," he says this, "sitting on a phone wire as a Thetan, as a being, someone without a body, for the last however many years since he'd been dead, waiting to enter back into our family." He tells me that. And I'm like, "Oh," I feel like the vet tech today that I was like, "She was born in a manger." And she was like, like, I get her pain now. So something I didn't realize. So as soon as I have Huxley, Doug is like, see, I had a good job. I had a good paying job. Michael had never worked in his life. He didn't go to school. And thankfully, Michael got a job at Whole Foods. He did really well. He worked there like 7 years, and he worked his way up to management, but he didn't make good money in the beginning. So it was all kind of on me. And Doug comes to me, and I swear to God, looking at it now, it's like he made some deal with me. I feel like I made a deal with the devil, and I never looked at it this way until today. He comes to me, and I'm the homeowner. Michael's not the homeowner. The house is solely in my name. Oh, wow, Rain. And it was a good job. You got 20% off everything at Whole Foods if you were an employee. So Doug comes to me and he's like, look, I make all this money. Like, it was very sleazy. It was very like car dealer. He goes, I make all this money. And he's like, I'm an orthodontist. And he's like, let me help you. Like, let me help pay for things. And I said, well, yeah, like that would be great if you want to, and I thought he meant like your groceries or let me give you $100. Like, I thought that's what he was doing. And he was like, let me help pay your house payment. And I was like, really? And he was like, I make all this money. I'll never forget this conversation. He's like, I make all this money. He's like, what am I going to do with it if I don't help my kids? Like, it was sleazy and it was a deal he was making. And I'm 24 and I was like, that would help me so much. Yeah. Like, I was like, we're barely making it because I'm the one making all the money. I got to buy all this baby furniture. Like, yes, that would help a lot. I'm not looking at it. I don't see it the way that he's designing it. He had full intentions and it was insidious, right? Like, he was slowly taking over, right? Love you, Jessica. It's okay. And when Huxley, I won't go there yet. I start getting his nursery ready, the room across the hall from us ready. I'm really getting into, I loved pregnancy. I'm really enjoying it. Now, Scientology harshly pushed me to have a home birth, a water birth, actually. Hey, Pat Jonas. I shopped around for different OBGYNs and I finally found one I loved. And I was simultaneously doing the pregnancy assist is what it's called. And that is, I was in session every weekend and like one night a week doing what's called a pregnancy assist. It's on the cans. And what it does is it's basically, I don't know how to say this in non-Scientology terms. It's to remove the charge from all pregnancies you've ever had. And the charge is basically, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you got mugged in a Walmart parking lot. And years after you got mugged, you're like, oh, I hate coming back to this Walmart. I know it's irrational, but I feel like I'm going to get mugged again. You know what I mean? You've got charge on it. It's not going to happen again. We know this. Chances are low. You don't like overly tall guys because you were beat up by one once. So like now you're freaked out. You have charge on it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So the pregnancy assist in Scientology is designed. No, Trixie, there are no OBGYNs that are Scientologists now. The pregnancy assist is designed to remove the charge of all pregnancies and deliveries on the whole track, past life shit, painful memories. Yeah. Yeah, like PTSD. And so that's what it's for. So I'm going in session every weekend. I'm loving being pregnant. I loved it. I didn't have anything like weird. I really enjoyed it. I slept good. I was enjoying him. But the more that happened, yeah, I've got words. The more that happened, the more I felt like Doug kept reminding me, like, this is my baby. Like, he would almost say that to me, like he was buying me. He was like, I'm so excited. That's my dad that's in your stomach. Like, I started to, and I realized this today. I was a vessel. Like, I was simply like a surrogate mom. I felt like I was a nobody. He didn't give a shit. I remember so many times Doug didn't even hold the door for me. I remember carrying 2 Whole Foods bags into my house and he was waiting for me. He had already been waiting at the house. And I'm walking down the driveway with these bags and he's sitting on a bench that I had outside and he didn't even get the door. Like, he was not Doug was very kind of like my own father. I think they're very dismissive of women. Like, I don't think that they, hey, Amy Edge, I don't think that they have a lot of respect for women. I can't say that for all male Scientologists, but I know my father for sure and Doug Argis are, we're above you. We're above you. You are beneath us. That's how they see women. It definitely made me feel detached a little bit from the baby, but not while in the womb, Renee. So while I was pregnant, no. I loved being pregnant. I would sing to him, like I would play music, and I felt him like constantly dancing around. And I had as much as a normal pregnancy as I tried to have. This was the first grandchild. They wanted me to quit my doctor. They didn't want me to see a doctor at all. They already had me on a weekly schedule seeing a OT8 chiropractor, and he would adjust my pelvis every week and get it ready for birth. And no, Orlena Rainiman, I probably didn't. This is new detailed stuff that I haven't thought about in a while. I didn't want to quit my doctor. And the org kept telling me, like, you need to do a home birth. Like, doctors are really dangerous. Guys, Scientology believes doctors, I don't care if you're going for a regular checkup, like, you're going to be put on psych drugs and they're going to electrocute you. They're going to electric shock you. You're going to wind up in a psych hospital. Like, that's what they tell us regular doctors are. They got us scared to death about doctors. I wouldn't quit. I liked my doctor way too much. I kept her as my OB until last year when I moved here. I loved her. So there was no way I was going to quit. So at my 28-week visit, my regular doctor visit, I do the gestational diabetes test. We all remember that if we've had kids, you drink that disgusting, super sugary stuff. No Scientology midwife. They just wanted me to have like a doula. But it was going to be someone from the org. They were just going to like watch YouTube videos on how to deliver a baby and have someone there. So at my 28-week visit, yeah, I had that test. It came back positive. I had gestational diabetes. I didn't know what that was. Like, again, not familiar with the medical field at all. Okay. Hey, Wharton. And I immediately, when I get the results, my doctor she referred me to a nutritionist for gestational diabetes. And I go see the nutritionist with Michael. And I remember seeing her, and they gave me the kit to check my blood sugars. They gave me like some educational stuff on this is what you need to avoid, like complex carbs, like all of that stuff. Right. And I'm a little shaken about it. I was like, what do I have to do? And they were like, you just really, they told me I had to check my blood sugars 4 times a day. And they were like, you just have to really, we're not going to do medication right now, but like, we want to see how it does when you eat like this, change your diet and go from there. So I take all of this to the org because you have to report every medical everything, right? Like anytime you see a doctor, it's got to be like in detailed writing on what did they say? What did they do? What did you tell them? So I go do that. I've never told this story. And the MLO, which is the medical liaison officer, who is the assigned person who has that post at the org, who's got no medical training whatsoever. Oh, I know, Sam. Sam. I can see them watching videos for that. Yeah. Guys, listen to what I'm about to say. The medical liaison. Okay, before I tell you what I'm about to say, it's very important that you hear this. It's very important that you absorb what I'm about to say. In Scientology, there is a golden rule. There's many golden rules, but this is one that we use all the time. We share this sentence like daily. Okay. This is very much daily said in Scientology. It's a common phrase and it's set in stone with LRH. There's no like, what does that mean? Okay. Hey, Scientology up north. It's this sentence. Okay. Hear me out. If it isn't written, it isn't true. If it isn't written, it isn't true. That's a fact in Scientology, and we follow it very seriously. Okay. So I go to the medical liaison officer and I go, here's what happened and here's what I have to do. And I have gestational diabetes. Do you want to know what they told me? LRH doesn't talk about gestational diabetes anywhere. Therefore, it's false. It isn't written and it isn't true. carry on and eat what you want. That's the most ridiculous psych bullshit we've ever heard. And this is why we didn't want you seeing a doctor. And this is why you should have had your child at home. That's what I was told. Thanks, Idira. It's false data. Gestational diabetes is not a real thing. They're making that up to get more money and to put you on psych drugs. I did, Rachel. So I left and I go to Doug, and he's a dentist. And he says to me, that's the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever heard. And I'm a dentist. And he's like, eat what you want. LRH doesn't talk about gestational diabetes. He's like, this is some psych bullshit. He says the same thing. And he's like, they're just trying to scare you because that's what non-Scientologists do. And he was like, this is the medical field. Like I told you. So I totally ignored it. I listened to what they told me and I was like, okay, they are right and the outside world is wrong. And I knew that. I believed that within all of my fiber of every being was like, they're trying to scare me and it's psych stuff. So I was very much under like, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? Like I should have told the nutritionist. So I totally ignore everything they told me to do. I'm not checking the sugars. I don't give a shit. I'm like, yeah. Like, sure, you guys are just trying to put me on psych drugs. That's what you're doing. Like, it's a fake diagnosis to put me on psych drugs. Like, I got your number. That's what I thought. So at 38 weeks, well, let's go back. We're not going to go there yet. At about 30 weeks, a couple of weeks after, it is very scary. I've worked with birth center to high risk OB hospitals. It's incredibly wrong and disgusting. Like we'll get there. Baby steps, we'll get there. I'm trying to hurry through this story and I don't know why. Thank you for the super chat. You're not the only dude here at all, Wharton. We got Joe Virus. We got Joel Sachs. We got old Charlie, Brian Bolin, Brian Webb. We've got guys. So at about 30 weeks, I'm sitting in the nursery and I was by myself and I was kind of starting to feel that like nesting thing. Like I was like getting it all. I was kind of getting, everything set up the way I liked it. I picked out some really cute furniture at Nebraska Furniture Mart. I put it on my credit card. Like I had it delivered. I was feeling like an adult. I was feeling excited. Yes, he is, Rain. And I sit in the glider that I bought, the rocking chair thing, and I start looking at my baby book. And I got really emotional. Thank you, Helena. And I realized like I haven't heard from my dad. Like he's not checking in. He doesn't care. This is his first grandson, right? Like I was like, I'm a little emotional about this at this point. Like I'm about to have a baby in like 10 weeks. And I'm like, where is he? And why doesn't he care? So I call Dan O'Connor, my close friend. And I said to Dan, I start crying and I'm like, I'm really upset that like everybody's kind of dangled that my dad's going to come back into my life. And he's been like, he kind of did for a second and then he went away and he called again, but then he went away. It's like he's like some horrible boyfriend, like toxic boyfriend that just ghosts you. He's like when it's convenient type of guy. And Dan says, why don't I do a chaplain cycle? Dan is an ordained minister. And he's, when you have a chaplain cycle in Scientology, yeah, there's Jason, but I didn't think about him. He's just there all the time in my head. All those guys I named are in and out, but Jason's always with us. But that's true. We have Jason. When you do a chaplain cycle in Scientology, it's important to know that that is like a mediator type situation. It's not an ethics cycle. So like you're not in trouble. It's kind of a cycle that like it won't handle. So let's put a chaplain on it, which would be similar to you going to your church and like having the minister talk with you and your family. I had never had a chaplain cycle. I always had ethics cycles. I was always in trouble. Yeah, Rachel. So Dan says, let's do a chaplain cycle on a 3-way call with your dad. He's in Omaha, right? It's definitely why Hux was so big. Well, Michael and Sam, Brenda, Michael is Huxley's dad. He was 10 pounds, 3 ounces. So I just figured he was a big baby because his dad was a big baby. But she probably had it too, for all I know. Thank you, baby steps. Yes. So he's like, let's call your dad and do a chaplain cycle. So he called and scheduled it with my dad. And I remember this night we call. Dan brings me in on the call, 3-way call, however you do that. And Melissa, and I was so nervous to have this call. And I didn't know what I wanted to say to him. And my dad gets on the phone and he's super cold and distant again. He's back to that, swung back to that. And Dan says to me, he goes, all right, Reese, he goes, we're all on the call. He goes, I want you to say what it is that you want to communicate to your father. He goes, and I want you to keep your TRs in, and I want you to have no HE&R in this conversation. Do you understand? HE&R is human emotion and reaction. So it's like, gee, yeah, no problem. Let me communicate everything. I'm 30 weeks pregnant, and let me do this without any human emotion or reaction. So, hey, B lady, I'm glad you made it. So that's a lot of pressure. So I immediately started crying. And he goes, go ahead, tell your dad what you want to say to him. And I'm like trying not to cry. I was definitely like trying to keep my TRs in, right? And I said, I feel like you, yeah, I know, Nancy. I said, I feel like you don't have any interest in my life, my personal life. Like you don't ask about me. You don't ask about this pregnancy. I said, you don't ask about my marriage. You don't ask about what I do for a living. I said, you just want to know when you call specifically about Scientology, what course am I on? What events have I attended? Who have I been working with in Scientology? What am I doing to donate my time? And I said that. And then I really started crying. And I said, I feel like you don't care. I said, I feel like you're not interested that I'm having your first grandson. I said, I'm about to have a baby and I would like you to be a part of my life. And I don't feel like you care. And he stopped the conversation, my dad. And he was angry. And he goes, you're damn right I don't care. He goes, we're saving planet Earth and I'm supposed to care. He goes, this was horrible. He goes, you've had billions of babies, Marisa. He goes, you've been a mother billions of times. He goes, forgive me if I'm not excited. B lady, I'm not pregnant. I'm talking about when I was pregnant, when I was 24. And he goes, forgive me if I'm not excited that you're having another baby that you've had billions of. And he goes, you know what gets me excited? He goes, saving planet Earth, clearing this planet before it's destroyed. And he goes, and if you even want a shot for your child's future, he was like, that's what you should be excited about. You should be on course and you should be in the org. Yes, B lady. And I was just like, and in that moment, I realized it hit me so hard in that moment. And I'm sitting there with this big stomach. And I thought, I am never going to be good enough for him, am I? Like, I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to reach that point for him. You know, I started when I was 5 trying to be really good and, you know, be a good little trained Scientologist and do all my stuff and my courses when I was 5. I knew that I would get praise from him when I did Scientology. So I really tried. I joined staff. I married into a Scientology family because I thought that would impress him. I started working volunteer for Dan O'Connor, you know, because I thought I'm going to work for the highest trained guy in the org. That will impress him. I thought I'm going to accomplish buying this house and I have a baby. That will impress him because the baby is going to be born into this Scientology family. And it just broke me. And I was like, this isn't going to be enough. Like, this is never going to be enough for him. And it really distanced me at that point. I just kind of like mentally got numb and checked out. And I thought, I'm not going to try anymore. Like, I'm not going to try anymore to be good enough for this person. I'm not going to be. And it hurt because, like, my stepsisters who were my age, he couldn't stop talking about. He was like, "Did you hear? She just attested to pro TRs. My God, she's just flying up the bridge. She's almost clear." Like, he was so impressed with other people's kids, always. I went to a restaurant with him and he said something about the waitress. He goes, she was talking about all of her accomplishments. And yeah, B lady, I had stepsisters. And she was talking about like her college or whatever. And she walked away and he goes, "Man, good girl there." And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "I bet her dad is proud of her for all the things she's done." And I was like, unbelievable. Like you admire everyone, your own children, right? So what did Dan do? Says Renee B. So Dan had a weird position because my dad was a huge donor. So when he goes flying off the handle and he says, like, "You've had a billion babies. I'm not proud of you. I don't give a shit about you having a baby." Dan says, "Gene," he was like, "I think this went really well." He was like, "Thank you for your time. Thank you for being honest and your communication." And like Dan was just trying to like keep Gene happy because Gene was the moneymaker. So we let Gene go, and Dan stayed on the phone with me for like a few minutes, and I was bawling. And he was like, "I think it went great." He was like, "It's fine." He said, he's not clear. He was like, "Let him go up the bridge a little bit. And you need to do the same." He was like, "You guys just need to equally go up the bridge and you will find this peace and happiness." And I was like, it's constantly the bridge, the bridge, the bridge. Like, just do more. Just become OT8 and all of your woes will go away. Baby steps, I'm so sorry. He's lost on so much. If he was so worried about saving the planet, why isn't he more trained? Well, because he's given so much money to save the planet, right? That's his thing. He's throwing out them Benjamins. Thank you for your super chat. So I pretty much let the idea go of having a relationship with my dad. And I really clung to the Argises. They were kind of my new parents, Doug and Brenda, my in-laws at the time. And I had Huxley, and it was yeah, Sam. It was just all very strange. Like, I went to the hospital. I went to how you get to the end of your pregnancy and you do weekly visits instead of like every month, and then it's every 2 weeks. I think then it's every week. And I go to the doctor for my weekly visit at 38 weeks. And she feels him and she says, "He's huge." And I said, "Yeah, okay, well, so is his dad." And I said, can we do a C-section? And she's like, "Yeah, of course." And she checks my blood pressure and she's like, "Your blood pressure is off the charts." Yes, B lady. Scientology is a tax exempt organization. And she goes, "We're going to need to do an emergency C-section today." And I was like, "Today?" Like, "No, I don't have that kind of time. I haven't shaved my legs." Like, "No, nah, like we'll have to pencil that in at 40 weeks." And she's like, "No, I'll meet you at the hospital. We need to do it now. Like, it's bad. Your blood pressure is really, really high." And so I did. I went over to the hospital and I called Michael and he came from work, and I called Doug and Brenda. And you guys know I shared this story not too long ago. Um, I never shared this part of the story. I am diabetic, B lady. And I never connected the dots for you guys on this story. And I think it's because it's hard for me. Um, I had this emergency C-section, and Huxley, we have to do a silent birth. So I'm doing this awkward, like, "Can you guys please be quiet?" And I don't like telling doctors how to do their jobs. So we go through the C-section. Thanks, Rachel. And Huxley's 10 pounds, 4 ounces. And I didn't even see him. They took him away so fast, and he was in the NICU for 2 weeks. his blood sugars were really out of whack. It was I don't know if they were super high or super low. To this day, I don't know. But because of my neglect, probably Renee B, that's why he was in the NICU. Because I was told gestational diabetes is a psych term, and if it isn't written, it isn't true. And LRH didn't write about it. There's no policies on it. It's totally a made up false news, fake news shit. It's not a real diagnosis. And because I didn't take that seriously, he was put in the NICU. And I feel so bad about that. That all could have been avoided. So I had my C-section, and I was in the hospital for 4 days. And the moment they took him to the NICU, they whisked him out of there. I didn't even really see him. I did not see him again for 3 days. I had trouble. I had the spinal block, and it, like, for whatever reason, I think we went into day 2, and, like, I wasn't able to move my legs still, and they had to have a neurologist come in and, like, check. Reese, you were raised to be a certain way, not your fault. Please don't blame yourself. I love UK, but I mean, there's yes and no's to that. I was a 24-year-old adult. So it is the truth. Like, I'm not lying when I say I didn't know. I really didn't know. When I was told, thank you for your super chat, Kay. When I was, hey, Audrey, when I was told gestational diabetes is a made up thing, even my chiropractor told me that, the Scientology one. So, like, I've got the medical liaison officer at the Church of Scientology. I've got Doug, my father in law, telling me that. And I've got my Scientology chiropractor saying it's a made up diagnosis. You don't have anything to worry about. Eat whatever you want. LRH doesn't talk about it. If it isn't written, it isn't true. Don't blame you. You did the best with what you knew. Thank you, baby steps. I mean, I'm just glad that everything ended up being okay. But we were in the NICU for 2 weeks. And you, of all people, know Baby Steps was a NICU nurse, right? Thank you for your super chat again, Baby Steps. So I had trouble. I had to have a neurologist come. And I ended up being okay, but it was really, yeah, B lady, it was really weird. Like, I wasn't able to move my legs. And as the days went by, Sam says, Reese, I reached out to drugs, what I knew, and you reached out to Scientology, what you knew. Both things were terrible and harmful. We grab what we know. You are beautiful inside and out. Thank you, guys. That's my sister. She's right. We grab what we know. We latch on to what we know. So I'm in this hospital room, and we also aren't allowed to breastfeed in Scientology. So I've got like a lactation consultant coming in. And I'm like, no, I can't for religious reasons. And as every day goes by, I am getting more and more depressed. I had the best pregnancy. I loved him so much. Like, I was so into like talking to him, and I didn't see him again. They took him out of my stomach, and I didn't see him for 3 days after that. And as each moment passed, and like I couldn't breastfeed, and I'm sitting in this room alone, like Michael even went to work. I was just like in this hospital bed. I was distraught, like really, really depressed at that point. By day 3, I was able to walk. I was able to pee on my own. By day 3, Michael finally said, okay, we're going to go to the NICU. Like, let's go see him. He was seeing him. He was visiting him, and he was reporting back to me and saying, like, he's amazing. He's so cute. And I was just like, I felt so left out of that. And I was like, I just spent 9 months with him and he is gone. Like, he's gone. And he was like, let's go see him. And I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to see him. Like, I just totally like gave up on myself. I was like, I don't want to see him. And he was like, what do you mean you don't want to see him? And he's doing all these Scientology assists on me, because there's all these assists you have to do at the end of once the child's delivered, you got to like run the engram out. And so like, I'm having all these assists done on me. And he was like, you're done with the assists. Let's go see him. And I was like, I don't want to see him. Like, he was such a huge part of me. And now he's gone. Like, he's just been taken away. It's not important anymore. I'm not needed. Like, I can't breastfeed him. I can't take care of him. I was like, I don't need to see him. I didn't want to see him. And when I finally saw him, I went into the NICU and he had like 3 needles like taped to his head. He had like this thing, feeding tube going down. Like, he looked awful, like just pathetic. It was so sad. And I just felt so upset with him. I was like, he's in here because of my lack of like piece of shit of a mother that I didn't know all this time. Like, I was loving being pregnant. I didn't know that like I was sitting there like eating pasta knowing like this is killing my kid and me. So that was really a struggle. He was in there for 2 weeks. That's not a short amount of time. Like, all these babies in this NICU were like 3 pounds, like Anna Banana's grandson. They were like this little tiny thing. Huxley's 10-pound, 4-ounce Chipotle burrito in there. And he wouldn't eat. He wasn't hungry. He wouldn't eat because his blood sugars were so messed up. So I'm trying to think. This all ties in. So then when I finally get him home, I'm driving back and forth. I got released from the hospital after 4 days from my C-section. And thankfully I lived really close to the hospital, and I was off work for my maternity leave anyway. And I just was at the hospital all day. I was like driving back and forth. I would sleep at home, but then I would come back all day. And hey, Heather, I finally got him home and I immediately put him on the barley formula. And the barley formula is a concoction. It's a baby formula. I'm a barley baby. Like, I was raised on it. Huxley was raised on it. We both had rotten teeth. It's a formula that L. Ron Hubbard wrote for all mothers in Scientology to give to their babies. We are not to breastfeed. We are to give this formula. And it's goat's milk, Cairo syrup, and water from barley that's tied in a muslin cloth that cooks in a crock pot for 8 hours. So you use that water with goat's milk and Cairo syrup. Cairo syrup is high fructose corn syrup. Yeah, Jojo. Baby steps, it's awful you weren't able to see him. We take moms on gurneys to the NICU to see their babies. My heart breaks so much for you. You and Hux deserved so much better. Thank you, baby steps. Yeah, it was rough. It was really hard for me. I'll never forget it, and I'll always regret it. Thank you, baby steps, for your super chat. So yeah, Renee B. So he's raised on barley, and he was pretty much taken from me the moment we brought him home. That is the day that Doug stepped into my life. Doug and Brenda, but more Doug because Brenda was a staff member. So she actually had a schedule to abide by. And that's the day that he basically moved in with us. Like he was at my house probably at least 5 days a week. He'd put Huxley to bed. He would feed Huxley. He took over. Iwa, I'll get into that. And so much so that when I would go to Scientology events, he was an infant, right? And we would go to events. Doug held him the entire time. People would come up to me at the end of every event I attended and they would go, "Cute baby, your son is so cute." And I would go, "Thank you." And they would go, "We tried to see him, but Doug wouldn't let us." Every time. Like people would make a point to come to me and go, "We tried to hold him, but Doug wouldn't let us." And I would always respond and go, "Me either. Yeah. I don't get to hold him either. So don't feel bad. I don't get to see him either." Like Doug hijacked my baby. Like he would, because Doug believed Huxley was his father. Doug believed that his father jumped into Huxley's body, and he told me that when Huxley grows up and has his first child, Doug is going to end his life and go into Huxley's first child's body, and they can just continue this cycle because Doug would say, "We are from the same home planet, he and I." He would always exclude the women, but he would say, "Michael, Sam," those are Doug's boys, "and Huxley and me." He'd always somehow exclude me and Brenda. But, you know, the patriarchy shit here is strong. And he would say, "We're from the same home planet." So he decided that he was going to leave his body and become Huxley's child when Huxley's older. So he really took over and he was paying a lot of our bills. And that was the trade off. And he took him every weekend. He would take him every Friday when he got off work as a dentist. He'd come pick him up, bundle him up, and take him. I just had my first Thanksgiving and Christmas, my second one last year with Huxley. I never, especially Thanksgiving, never got to see him ever on Thanksgiving. Had my second one this last year. He was super entitled, Rachel. I'll answer Iwa's question. So years went by and I was working my job for ophthalmologists, and for years, this went on for years, guys, like 2 to 3 years. I would be helping a patient in the exam room doing stuff, and I would constantly be like I would have to hold on to furniture. I always had to grab the countertop, or like I'd start sweating. I had horrible constant yeast infections, and I would go to the org and I would report it. And I would tell the MLO again, the medical liaison officer, and they would go to the chiropractor, drink more water, and get a bunch of Scientology stuff done. Assists, go in session, do what you have to do. Yes, be a lady. And so that's what I did for years. And every year that went by, I would still go, "Whew. Okay, I'm okay." Like this happened to me all the time. At home, at work, like I would purposely stand near furniture or walls and hold on to it because I would get dizzy all the time. And I would go into the org year after year and I would go, "I'm still having dizzy spells and I'm still having yeast infections." "Well, you don't need to go to a doctor. Here's what you need to do." I was always told not to go to the doctor. So when I married my last husband, I got really good health insurance. He was not a Scientologist, and he saw all kinds of doctors because he was older than me and he had some health issues. And Rachel, because dentists aren't prescribing Prozac. Dentists are safe, chiropractors are safe, real doctors are not. So Jeff, my last husband, goes, "You have really good health insurance now. Why don't you go see a doctor and like get a baseline?" Yes, be lady. So I did. I went and hey, Wendy Brewer, I went and I got totally checked out. I'll get to that, Renee B. So my blood work comes back and this doctor calls and says, "Your A1C is 12.4. That is extremely high." I was a very out of control diabetic. I got a blood sugar monitor And I checked when I got it the next day, they gave me a blood sugar and I checked my blood sugar fasting. It was 356 fasting. I had been like that for years. All those years I was going, oh, and the yeast infections, right, were because of all the sugar I'm peeing out, right? So that went on for years, uncontrolled diabetes. And so now, of course, I'm under control. I'm on medication. I take care of myself. But going back now, Renee B said, does Brenda ever have an opinion? Really early on, yeah, baby steps. Really early on, Doug was extreme. Thanks, Yadira. When I say patriarch, maybe I'm using the wrong word. Doug was extremely controlling and very much I am in charge of this family. I pay the bills of this family, and you will listen to what I have to say. Okay. Good question, Debbie Zito. So, oh, thanks, Rachel. Doug doesn't believe in divorce. And I learned that Brenda gave me this, let me in on this little family secret. And this was early on when I married Michael. We went to dinner one night. Doug had scheduled family dinners every week with us. Like we had to go. It was always Sunday night and Friday night. We went out for like fancy, nice dinners. All of us would go. And then we'd hang out at Starbucks after. And then Doug and Brenda would come to my house and hang out till about 2 or 3 in the morning. I couldn't get them to leave. So we're at dinner early on, and he's in charge, right? And Brenda's very soft-spoken, and she's been on staff forever. She's highly trained and authoritarian big time. A lot like our dad, Sam and I's dad. So, hey, Audra in Denver. So we're at dinner one night, and Brenda, like, Doug's being loud, and like he's just very, I'm in charge. And Brenda's like, Doug, hun, I don't know that you want, I don't know that. And he's like, Brenda, shut the fuck up. He's like, get your fucking TRs in now. Like I literally was like, what did I, like, head spinning. I was like, what just happened? What just happened? Like, I was so freaked out. And Brenda immediately was like, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, how's your steak? Like, totally flipped, totally like changed the subject. And later I would come to learn that they were like that. Like Huxley was like 3, and he would do shit. And I'd be like, Huxley, no. And they would say to me, Doug and Brenda both. One day they said to me, oh, no. We don't tell him no. Like they corrected me all the time as a parent. I was not Huxley's parent. And they were like, we don't tell him no. And I said, I do. And they were like, anytime he's doing something where you want to say no, if he's doing something he shouldn't be doing, immediately what you need to do is go, hey, look over here. Cool. Come here. Look at that. You want to misdirect in a very uptone way, in a very happy way. We don't tell the child no. That was the rules. They were like, especially Doug. He was like, we don't tell him no. And I was like, okay. So that night, back to that night, Brenda takes me to the bathroom in that restaurant. And I was like, are you all right? And she goes, it's okay. It's okay. She goes, I'm going to tell you something. And I was like, yeah, my ears are open, please. And she goes, this is the word she always used. She goes, Doug can get really gnarly. And she was like, just, you don't want to step on his toes. She was like, do not cut his comm. Cutting your comm is simply interrupting. Cutting your comm is communication. So she was like, don't cut his comm. And she said, it's a Scientology word, I think. I don't think you guys use this word, but she'd say he gets really ridgy. And what that means is he just ridges up like a ridge. You hit a ridge. So yeah, Tara Jackson. So she would go, he gets really gnarly. And she would say, don't share anything really with him. That's bad news. And I was like, what? And she was like, just always keep things uptone. Always keep things uptone. Uptone means like, hey, got a new job. Hey, got a promotion. Hey, I'm pregnant. Hey, good news, good news, good news. Uptone is simply that. And she was like, do not share downtone data with Doug. Don't ever share anything like bad news. And I was like, what? Like, we hit bad news all the time. And she was like, I know, but don't do it. She was like, you can always tell me. She said, just don't tell him. She was like, otherwise he gets really gnarly. This was in Kansas City, B-lady. Data is information. Like Scientologists use data on the regular. Like if you'd said, what's the status of her surgery? You'd go, no data. Do you have any new data on whatever is happening with that case folder? No, I don't have any data on that right now. We use it all the time. We, as in I'm an ex-Scientologist. I realize what I just said, but we used to use it. So I knew pretty quickly like what I was up against with Doug, and he scared me. Like I really didn't want to mess with that beast. He came unglued on her, and I watched him do it several more times. She was careful not to allow it. So much so that Michael and I got divorced. We were married for 9 years. Fast forward. We got divorced. Thanks, Rachel. Do you know that we had to go a year before we told Doug we got divorced because Brenda didn't want to tell him? She was like, no one tell Doug you guys are divorced. Just nobody tell him. We continued to go on our family dinner nights every Friday and Sunday after we were divorced, and we had to pretend like we were married, which wasn't hard to do because we were all still friends and it was fine. But we had to pretend that we were still married. Like I would put my ring on and go to dinner and like pretend we were married because Brenda was like, nobody tell Doug you got divorced. God, please don't tell Doug. And it was like, this is nuts. But the most important thing about this story, hey, Kevin Conklin, thank you, is that he was way more of a monster, I think, than I ever realized until this morning when I was going through this story that I'm telling you in my mind. I was making egg salad and I was like, it just hit me like a God thing. I was like, was I like extremely manipulated and I thought they were the nicest people ever? Like, were they the devil? Like, I'm serious. Like, the money, like him paying me toward my house payments, but taking my son, controlling my son, controlling all of us, controlling what we read, what we do, like all of those things, he was very under control about. Taking him on every Christmas and Thanksgiving to Iowa, 5 hours from my house, so I couldn't even hang out with him, right? Just like evil stuff. The more I think about it, the more evil. And like he was infiltrating. He was, I mean, I've shared this and this is uncomfortable. There was a time that I found out from Huxley, actually, and Huxley gave me permission to share this a long time ago, but I found out from Huxley, hey, sweet Liberty, that when Huxley was about 6, he came home from the weekend. And he said, he was talking about his weekend, telling me, and he hated coming home. Huxley hated coming home to me every weekend, like cried and cried and cried. He would be like, I miss Pop Pop. That's what he called him. And Doug, like, so Doug, I couldn't compete with Doug ever. Like, Doug would take, like, literally, Doug was loaded. I was not. So, like, he got season tickets or whatever it is, like, yearly passes to Legoland, the Sea Life Aquarium. They would ride the train downtown. He bought him toys every weekend of his life, all weekend. He took him out and did stuff with him that I just couldn't compete with. And if there was ever a weekend, are Doug and Jean close? No. If there was ever a weekend that I was like, I think I'm going to keep him this weekend, that never happened. Doug would say to me, oh, absolutely not. No, we already have plans. So sorry. Like he just laid down the law. He was like, oh no, 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 you're not getting him. He literally, do you think Brenda's afraid of him? She didn't tell you that she had left Scientology. She didn't tell you that she didn't tell you that you had left Scientology either. I don't know what the second question means, but I do think that, yeah, she was afraid of him. All of us were afraid of him. I was terrified of him. He kept me in line, but he was so nice at the same time. It was very strange. He had such a hold on Huxley. And Huxley came home when he was 6 from a weekend. And he was telling me about his weekend. And yeah, Rachel, I'm sure. And he's telling me about how Doug showered with him. And I went, wait, what? Like, you're 6 years old. I mean, tell Doug that you had left. I still don't know what you mean. And I said, what do you mean? And he was sleeping in the same bed with him as well. And Huxley told me this. I hadn't showered with Huxley since he was like 2. And then at 3, I would stand there and like let him take a shower, or I would sit on the toilet next to the shower and just, be there and let him play or whatever. But I wasn't taking showers with him. So for your 6'3" grandfather to be showering with you at 6, I was like, what the fuck? So I called Brenda immediately. And I said, I know you're not home all the time. I know you're on staff, but Huxley just informed me that Doug showers with him and sleeps with him. And she was like, yeah. She goes, he slept with our boys till they were 12. Is that not normal? And I was like, what? I said, look, this is my kid. And I was very aggressive with Brenda, but I couldn't be with Doug. I was too scared of Doug, but I could go through Brenda to get to Doug. And I said, if this continues, I said, this stops. This won't ever happen again. I said, if I find out that this is continuing, he can't come over anymore. I said, I am not okay with it. I'm very uncomfortable with that. I don't like it. And she said, okay. And the showering stopped. But come to find out, I think he was still sleeping with him. The reason I say that, I asked Huxley, and he said, yeah, he slept with us all the time. He was like, even when we went to Iowa to our great grandma's house, she had a 5-bedroom farmhouse, and he slept with them in that bed in that house. And I was like, but weren't there bedrooms everywhere? And he was like, yeah. He said he always did. And I was like, see, the other weird thing, Brenda was gone all the time. Brenda was gone out of town training constantly. So Doug didn't have a wife. He used to say that to us all the time. I don't have a wife. I've never had a wife, because she was on staff. She didn't cook. She didn't clean. Like, she wasn't a wife. She was gone all the time. So he just clung to Huxley. And so looking back, like, that part's creepy, and I knew that. But like, looking back, Doug didn't know about you leaving Scientology, even though you shared your thoughts with Brenda. I see what you're saying. Like those early conversations where I told Brenda, like, I'm going to get declared. She didn't know I was leaving, though. I remember he was still committed. Yes, that's correct. When doing lives with Aaron, you're correct about that. It's just she didn't know I was going to be leaving Scientology. There's no way I could have said that to her. But yes, that's correct. Hey, Alana, you were young, uninformed, did not get to bond. Sugar's too high, affects you mentally. Traumatic birth, sick baby, likely postpartum depression, and bullies for family. You didn't stand a chance. Yeah, that's correct. And I'm going to choose to look at it that way. Thank you for your super chat. I feel really guilty. I feel torn because I feel very much what she just said, but I also feel very like it was still my fault. I was a grown adult. I was an adult woman. But at the same time, looking back, I just realized this today. A lot of these things I just realized today were like super manipulative, like insidious. Is that the right word? Like, I didn't also stand a chance with Doug. Doug outsmarted me, right? Like, I feel like Doug, when he was with the conversation he had, when he was like, I make all this money, let me help you financially. Like, it's win-win for both of us. Then I can take the baby, you can get a break. Like, he very much, thanks, Vicky. Like, I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it like, I finally have a dad. That's how I looked at it. And I think he played into that. I think he knew that I was heartbroken about my own father leaving me. So I think Doug came around going, hey, sweetie, there. Let me take that role. Let me take this baby off your hands and you go to Target. And it started that way, by the way. It started when he was about 3 months old. He would take him like one night, like Saturdays. Manipulation disguised as help. I did not see it until today. I didn't even see it. I never thought of it. That's what I'm saying, you guys. I don't know if it's a God thing, but it's like I feel reborn. I feel like I'm like looking through new eyes on a lot of things. And I'm like, why didn't I see it that way? Heather, thank you for being a member and thank you for saying that. Yeah, I didn't see it that way, Kevin Conklin. So it started out with him going, let me take the baby. Like, let me take him. You run to Target, go get a Starbucks. You're a new mom. Here, I'll help pay your house payment. I was very much like, wow. Like, that is so kind. And then it became more and more. And he was like, I'm going to take the baby for the weekend. I'm going to take the, and then he just never stopped. He took him every weekend until Huxley was 13. The fact that you have guilt indicates you are human, just like Sam feels for the choices she made. Hindsight is great, and I know forgiving yourself is hard, but it was not your fault. It is hard. It's easier to forgive other people, Alana. Like, I completely 100% forgive Sam. But you're right. Thank you. Heather, I've never been on the book bandwagon. I know the book will be amazing, but I knew you say you weren't ready, but you are on fire tonight. This show is your book. Get started or don't. Just saying. I would love to do that someday. I plan to do that someday. It's on my bucket list. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Heather. B Lady, good point. I don't know. Thank you, Wendy Brewer. So let's get into that, Hope. Baby steps. Alana is completely correct. No blame on you. Abuse is all you had ever known. You had no support. You did stand up for Hux when you needed to. Thank you for reminding me of that, baby steps. You're right. You're right. When the time came, I sure did. You were groomed and manipulated. Was Hux told the lies about you? Yes. So that's the other thing. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I just got a text. Cute. So that's the thing. I don't know if I've ever shared this, but it made me think of this today. I called Doug once. And Huxley was like 7. Okay. And remember, he called Doug. Let me restart that. Huxley called Doug Pup. That's just his name he gave him, Pup. So I called and they were in the car. It was like a Saturday afternoon. And Huxley's like giving him a hard time and being loud in the car. And Doug is like, we're doing fine. Thanks. Like the other thing he would do, he would totally, totally override anything I said. Ever since Huxley was born, and I'm still this way as his mother, I'm a strict hard ass about this. I am weird about him getting enough sleep because I'm weird about getting enough. If I don't get enough sleep, I'm such a bitch. Like I'm cranky. I'm tired. I have such a short patience for anything. It's very noticeable. And Huxley's the same way. So ever since he was teeny tiny, I've made sure he gets like 12 hours of sleep a night. I'm like, why not? You're a kid. What else do you have to do? Wait till you're an adult and you get like 6 hours a night. Like I would force him to go to bed at like 8 o'clock every night. I really, really pushed sleep on him. He'd come home Sunday nights so just worn out, like ragged, run ragged. Like you could tell he didn't sleep all weekend. They partied. He would keep him up too late. He would throw off his whole schedule. I also was weird about food. I never gave Huxley sugar until he was like 4. He never had sugar. I chopped up vegetables. I made all my own baby food in my Vitamix processor. Like I was really into that. I would cook and I would like make veggies and make chicken for him. And you could tell like Doug took him to Red Robin every weekend and he just was like stuff him with fries. And he'd bring him home so crazy and like just wired, and it was awful. So like I would say to him on Fridays when he would pick him up, I would go, Doug, please abide by my strict schedule on the sleep. Like, please make sure he goes to bed at 8. And Doug would purposely do this to me as the dick swinging man he was. He'd go, yeah, we're good. We'll be fine. Thank you. Thanks for your input. Like that's what he would do. He'd be like, we got this. We got this. We're good. Like he would totally dismiss me. And it would make me so angry. Doug was not raised in Scientology, no. So cute. So he calls me on one Saturday and Huxley's like, hey, Grandma Matilda. Huxley's like being rowdy in the car. I could hear him on speaker. And I was like, calm down. Like I was trying to get him to calm down. And Doug was like, we got it. We're good. Thanks. Like, thanks. Bye. Like he didn't even hardly answer the phone when I would call. He didn't want to talk to me. He was like, this is our time. Quit fucking butting in. And he thought he hung up the phone. And the phone kept going. And I was listening. And Huxley was screaming. And he was like, Pop. He was like, don't tell her. He was like, don't tell my mom. He was like, please don't tell my mom. And Doug is going, it's our secret. He was like, I'm not going to tell your mom. He was like, I don't tell your mom anything. He was like, you know, you can trust me. We're best friends. He was like, it's our secret, Huxley. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? And that was like ongoing how they were. Like that was just their weird little, he just like made him into this. He would say that like, you're my best friend. We're best friends. Like it was so creepy, fucking weird. And I asked Brenda about it. And of course, Brenda was like, I don't know. She was like, but you know, Doug really loves him and Doug thinks that's his father. And I was in so deep. Like there was no getting out of this, guys. I can attest to that. Like there's no way. I don't know how to explain this to you, but there's no way that I could have called up Doug or had to sit down with Doug and been like, you're not going to see my son anymore. You're a fucking creeper. Like there was one time, couple of times, but one major time, Doug and I went head to head and we were fighting in public at a table. And Huxley was like 5 at this point. And we were fighting over, so Doug disconnected from his reincarnated dad. He did, he had to. Thank you for your super chat. And we were fighting because you guys know I'm a huge animal lover. And we had rescued a dog. It was a black lab mix named Jade. And I really loved her, but I had to give her back to the rescue because she jumped the fence. She kept jumping the fence. And animal control picked her up and I had to go to court over that. And it was like, this is too much. Like I wanted it to be a fit. It's not. But while we had her, she was the sweetest dog. And I had her in the house and they don't believe Doug and Brenda did not like animals. Brenda really didn't like animals. And a lot of Scientologists don't believe in, they don't like animals. Like a lot of them don't. Like my dad didn't, Doug didn't. I can't speak for the rest of them, but these guys didn't. And we got into a fight at this table over this dog. And I said, Michael was sitting next to me, and I said, we have a strict policy in my house. And I was trying to kind of dick swing back. I was trying to establish the dominance with him. And I said, Huxley will always be respectful to animals in my house. I said, I will never, ever, ever have a child that yanks on the ears and tries to ride the dog and hurts the dog. I said, not happening in my house. The dog has rights. And Doug was like, the dog doesn't have any fucking rights. It's a dog. He was like, who gives a shit about the dog? He was like, Huxley can do what he wants. He's a being. And I was like, oh, not today, motherfucker. Not today. Fred didn't know about any of this. No. And I stood my ground and I was like, not in my house. And he was like, well, you're lucky that dog isn't at my house. He was like, because I wouldn't give a shit. And I said, I know you don't. And I said, but it's not happening in my house. And it just escalated from there. And he was like, what did he say to me? I don't remember the entire conversation, but I remember by the end of it, we were like this across from this table. And I said, I won't allow it. I said, so I don't know how else to be more clear with you. I said, we respect animals in my house. And Michael's sitting there like his normal self. Michael can't stand up for himself. He's not going to stand up for anything. And Doug said, you would let, what did he say? You would let, he said something like, you would let Huxley, or you would give a dog equal rights to your own kid or something like that. And I said, yeah, I said, the dog has rights too. I will not let any child abuse an animal in my house. And he goes, I bet you wouldn't. And he goes, I bet you're a suppressive person, aren't you? And I said, maybe I am. He was like, the fuck you are. He was like, I know you are. And Brenda was like, Doug. And she was like freaking out. I was like, maybe I am, motherfucker. Like I was so, that was the only time that we actually, but he had complete control. Doug had complete control. And I guess what I'm trying to say is looking back at this story that we all now know kind of in sequence, as I told it, we hit the over 2-hour mark, and I'm sorry. Tara Jackson, Michael is my first husband, Huxley's dad, Doug and Brenda's son. They had cut every single emotional bond between you and Hux. Thank God for the animals reminding you of your humanity and motherhood. Oh, I've always loved animals. You know that, Heather. I'm not fucking around when it comes to animals. I will not allow that. So you're fine, Tara. Do I think he ever laid hands on Brenda? I don't. I think he was extremely verbally abusive. I don't think he was physically abusive. I never saw him lay a hand on Huxley, Brenda. She never mentioned that to me. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't say, but I don't think so. So we fast forward to, hey, Kat, this keeps going on for years. And he keeps him every year, a little more, a little more. And the Scientology school opens. Dan O'Connor opens a Scientology school. And I love our little neighborhood. And I love Huxley's elementary school. It was right around the corner. I loved the kids, the teachers. It was just a chill vibe. And Doug and Brenda, this Scientology school is $1,000 a month per child. It's in Dan O'Connor's basement. And their other son, Sam, is the teacher for the school. And they're like, time mark, they're like, I really want to put, Punky, don't lick it, please. Thank you. They're like, I really want to put Huxley in this school. And I went and toured the school, and they had fundraisers for the school, and they kept pushing me and trying to recruit Huxley into this school. And I was like, I just really like our school. And in real life, and what I'm thinking is he's not going to a Scientology school. Like I'm trying to keep Huxley out of Scientology as much as I can without saying it out loud. Right. Like I was like, I love his school. I love his teacher. And I did. But like the truth was, if I was a gung-ho Scientologist and believed in that shit, I believed in Scientology hugely, But I had a talk with Michael when Huxley was born. And I said, look, I love Scientology and I'm a dedicated Scientologist. I do not want my child, though, doing Scientology at the age of 4, like you and I had to. I felt like it was forced upon me. And I know that you felt like it was forced upon you. And I said, I want him to be a Scientologist, but I want him to make a choice when he's like 16, 18, somewhere in there. Like, I want him to be able to choose for himself that Scientology is an option that he's interested in. I just don't want to force it on him at such a young age. And Michael totally agreed. So that's what we did. And every year, though, I mean, he was exposed to Scientology, no question. Doug took him to the org. I took him to the org. He was always at the org every weekend for events. I don't know if I ever told you guys this. Huxley is in the Aftermath show. There's a picture of Huxley in that show, the Leah Remini show. There was a picture when Huxley was like 4 or 5 wearing a Superman costume at an event, a fundraising event. And they always would make the kids go up to try to get people to donate more. Hey, Mason, they would try to get the kids to go up and fundraise so that it would tug on their heartstrings. Okay, West Coast Fancy Nancy. And so Huxley would go up and write on the board, like, so-and-so donated $500, $2,000, and they'd get the kids to do it, right? So someone took a picture of him writing $500 on the board in his Superman costume. And they snapped a picture of it. Rachel, I'd have to go back and look. They snapped a picture of it. They put it on promo without my permission. I didn't know anything about this. And the next thing I know, there's postcards everywhere. There's promo, that's what we call it, that they're handing out with Huxley on it in his Superman costume. I didn't say anything and I didn't care. Years later, my mother calls me because she watched the Aftermath show. I did not. And she goes, is my fucking grandson on this Scientology show? She goes, please tell me that my fucking grandson isn't on this show right here. She goes, because I recognize him and I recognize the costume. And I went, what show? And what are you talking about? And she sent me a picture of it. And I said, yep, that's Hux. And she was like, it's on the Aftermath Scientology show. And I said, oh my God. I mean, it was just wild. I don't know that I mean, there was nothing I could do about it at that point, but it was just crazy that it made it all the way to the show. And I'm tempted. Thank you, Tara Jackson. That's so nice. Thank you for the super sticker, babe. Yeah, Kestrel, I'm tempted. Hang on one second. I would like to share with you because I'm going to wrap this up. Mason, no, I'm not married. I'm going to wrap this up. I would like to play the end of an audio. This was the last conversation Huxley ever had with Doug. And I want you guys to hear it. I've played it before and I got Huxley's permission on this, so I'm totally cool on doing it. He kept him in his life, clinging to him in his life until the very end. Hey, Huxley. Hang on, guys. I don't want to scream at you. Your sister in?
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Hang on. I'm sweating. Oh, thanks, Rachel. If you guys are okay with it, I would like to play it. I think it's better if I play it, because then it's not coming from my mouth. You're hearing it from Doug himself. So when I got declared, After all of those years, after all of that time, hijacking my kid every weekend, every holiday, all of that indoctrination, all of those secrets, all of that time spent, he never called Huxley again. He never said goodbye to him. No one did. He wasn't like a grandpa that saw him twice a year. He kept my child more than I did. And after I got declared, he dropped him. He totally dropped Huxley. Huxley was, let's see, this was 13. Yeah, 13. And this is heartbreaking. And so for those of you that don't want to listen to this, I suggest that you step out. But I want to play this for you because I haven't played it in years and it's worth listening to so you can hear it directly from Doug. So what happened was I got declared, Doug found out, and he totally just disappeared. Huxley's 13. And he comes to me and he goes, I don't understand this whole policy. I don't understand it. Can you explain it to me? Why can't I talk to him? And I said, I don't understand it either. I said, I think maybe you should try calling him. So I recorded the call. And this is what Doug had to say. And that is when you get declared B lady, it's the highest, worst thing that can happen. It's when you get totally excommunicated from the church. And every single person, once you get declared, every person that's in Scientology has to disconnect from you. And every person that is connected to you, they have to disconnect from if they don't disconnect. So you can't just disconnect from me. If we have the same mailman, they have to disconnect. You cannot be connected to anyone that has anything to do with me. Thank you, Tiffany G. Okay, so I just pulled this up. I'm going to, there's some parts of the call that are not really important. Will you be my woman, Reese? I really appreciate that, Mason, but oh, thanks, Rachel. I can't. Yeah, Castro. They used to give out your declare. Nora shaved her head today. Oh wow, I'll have to go over and look at that. So I'm going to play this one and I don't like, I'm just going into this blind. So I don't know, but I want you guys to hear this. So Huxley calls him and hey, Pepperoni Nibs. Huxley calls him. And you can tell before I play this, you can tell that Doug was prepared for this call. He was trained. He was bullbaited on this. Somebody pretended to be Huxley. You can tell very much he's dodging the questions and he's acting like nothing happened. He's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's no big deal. Joanne Holly, I love you and Hux. This is a tough one. Thank you, Joanne Holly. And I'm glad you're still here with me. Thank you, babe. And thank you for the super chat. You should be so proud of yourself. Hux has a great example in you. I love you too. Keep sharing and processing, lean into God and keep making a difference. That is beautiful. Baby steps, and I will. Thank you. That's why I'm talking about this today. Sorry, I just made the computer shake. Thank you. I'm assuming this is what we want to hear, but I'm here we go. Huxley's little voice is so different. Okay. That's the beginning of the call. I'm going to go to this one. This is where all the information pertains. Okay, hold on. That's not right. I hate when this phone does this. Hold on, guys.
Hello? So, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
What?
Turn the ringer off, Jeff.
Is media doing okay?
Yeah,
Where you at?
a lot of schools.
And then I think you were going to have some football meetings
Renee B. Hux has heard this before already.
too, right? Probably be a week or two. That's what I'm looking at. I was talking to your dad yesterday, and I was telling him the same thing.
Yeah.
And he was saying you had camping this past weekend, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Was it in the area or was it somewhere else?
See, this is not, I don't care about this because they talk about school. Doug is doing everything he can to misdirect Huxley. Huxley's trying to get to it. And he's like, how is camping? How is football? How is your math test? This is like 7 minutes straight of this shit. I don't care about that. I want to get into it where Huxley.
Probably pressuring you.
Okay, here we go.
Well, I got it, but I was a little confused about.
Hold on.
How,
This is just very sad. I want to warn everyone. This is very sad.
You probably heard Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets.
Yeah, he went to the Jets now, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad for that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about something. I think you know now about of all this going on.
Not too much.
Did you get my text?
Well, I got it, but I was a little confused about it.
I don't know if I really want to. I really just don't want to disconnect. And I know that they're all there probably pressuring you. I know that's the policy. If they're doing that to the church, you guys view it as attacking the church, and I really don't want disconnect,
Well, I tell you what, Huxley, I'm going to work with your dad, and I'm going to work with you. There's a lot of confusion in that area, but it can be worked out where you and I won't be disconnected, okay?
Yeah.
We'll work it out, and I'm going to work with your dad on it too, okay?
Okay, it's been on my mind for a long time.
Right.
I've known you my whole life, and I have to disconnect,
Well,
It's not how family works. but it'd be great to work it out. You know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you've been told, but we can definitely work something out. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to be back in Kansas City, and then I'm going to get with your dad, and we're going to work things out. Okay.
Okay.
And I know it's been heavy on your mind. I can understand what you're saying.
I just know that's the policy sometimes.
Well, there's more to it than that, okay?
All right.
That's what's kind of confusing, and it is something that your dad and I work on, okay? And we're going to include you too, because like you say, we've been together all these years, and we want to keep that strong relationship. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing between you and me, and there's nothing we can't work out. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And I definitely love you with all my heart, and I care for you completely. And I'm sorry that it's putting you in an upset condition, because I want you to do well, and I want you to do well in school and well with sports, and just have a great life, okay?
Yeah.
But hang in there. We'll get it figured out, okay?
Yeah.
And just know that it's going to all work out.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay? Are you at your house?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And why don't you can also call your dad and talk with him too, okay?
Okay.
But just hang in there. We're family, so we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, but sounds good.
Well, thanks for calling. I know it takes a lot of courage to call, and I know I'm glad that you feel were able to call and reach out for me, okay?
Yeah.
And then keep me posted on how you're doing. I want you to do really good in school.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want you to do really good in your sports. And keep practicing. And then we'll get this all figured out, okay?
Okay.
Okay. But I just wanted to reassure you, and thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just love you so much. So.
Yeah. I love you so much too. Okay.
Yes.
We'll work it out. We'll make it work.
He never spoke to us again. That was the last time anybody ever spoke to Doug. He sat there and lied to my son and said, "We'll work this out, okay? I'll get a hold of your dad because we're family." That, folks, is a church. That is a church. They claim to be a fucking church. That should be played on commercials. Honestly, like if I had the money, if I had won that $1 billion last week, I would be putting out anti-Scientology commercials saying, "You guys need to hear this." I've got all kinds of recordings that people need to hear what the real Scientology is. He never called my son again. That's the last one. That's the last time he ever spoke to Huxley. He sat there and lied and said, "We're family. We'll get this worked out." As my son sits there sobbing so hard that he could hardly talk through that call. And if you notice, Doug didn't have a problem with that call at all. You know why? He was coached. And my guess is he had someone standing there too, sitting there listening, walking him through it. Keep your TRs in. He was drilled and ready for that call. How could anybody listen to that call and just go, "It's okay," while that child is sitting there sobbing? Yeah, Sam, that's correct. So destructive, Rosangela. So destructive. We need to play those calls more often. I need to play all of my audios more often and get the word. I mean, it's the best way to do it because it's not my word, it's not my story. I have proof, and you can hear, hey, Linda, Scientologists speaking in the wild. Like I always say it's pulling back the Scientology curtain. They don't talk like that to you guys. They switch to a totally different personality and a different language when we're out here talking to you guys. But seasoned people back and forth talk very differently. And I have tons of calls, and I've played them before, but it doesn't hurt to hear them again. Love you, Joel Sachs. I really wish we could play those for the world somehow. Grandma Matilda, he had no intention of working anything out. He chose to leave his grandson. I cannot say it loud enough how reprehensible he is. And just how insidious, again. Yeah, Ty Mark, that is no church. What I'm saying is they claim to be a church. This family church, right? Like they're a church. They would tell you they're a church. Their commercials, all their promotional pieces they put out. We're a church. We're full of Scientology families. Helena, babe, despite all Doug tried to do to you, you raised a strong, kind-hearted human being who respects others and himself. Be proud. How long? Hey, Lori, you're still here. Oh my God, I can't believe you stayed with us, because this has got to be tough for you to go follow. Lori Riston is a new follower, guys. I'm really happy to have her here. Lori, how long has it been? 2 years. My son is 15 now. Yeah. Thank you, Helena. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It's hard to go. It's always easier to tear ourselves down, and it's always easier to see the hard, but you didn't do this. It's easier to tear down than to validate. But she's right. Helena, you're right. All of these things. That's why I wanted to build this story from the start, from pregnancy. And Alana's right. I didn't have a chance. Doug was a predator. That's the word that comes to mind for me. Money that there are church taxes and such. That's why it became a church. Yes. He knew the role he was stepping into, and he was so like, I'm in charge here, and he took over, and he paid for things, and he overwhelmed me with that. He really was able to buy Huxley. Huxley didn't want to spend weekends with me anyway, because I couldn't take him to all those places. I couldn't spend all that money, and he knew it. So Doug took advantage instead. It's a sick story, guys. It's a sick, twisted story. It's a story that needed to be told, and I will tell it again and again, because we never know who's watching. It could be under the radar people watching right now going, that's terrible. We are going to make an impact. We will shake somebody loose. And who knows, maybe someone will watch sometime that goes, I have the resources to be able to do this. I know these people. I want to spread the word. I love you too, Heather. And we will. And we are. And I have to talk about this stuff more, even though it's hard. I know it's triggering. He is not in charge anymore, Lumen. We are truly free. I wake up every day thinking that I'm truly free. Not only am I free from Scientology, I'm free. Like I am lucky. I get to use this platform. I have 18,000, almost 17,000 people that will see this, right? Like, I am so lucky to use my voice around the world to people. Somebody is going to see that and go, oh my God, hopefully we save people from going into Scientology. Yeah, that would be great. Maybe it'll happen, Rosangela. My sister says, I love you, my beautiful sister. So proud of you. I love you too, Sam. I'm so glad that we were brought back together, and I'm so glad that you're here. It makes such a difference. It makes such a difference. Sorry this was such a long stream, everybody. I had to tell it. I'm sure I even missed some things. Love you, Diana H. I love the strong, secure women you are becoming. You and Hux are both going beyond this and doing it together. Thank you, Just Joan. Thank you for saying that. I'm really glad you stayed with me through this. And Renee B says, Sam, I'm so glad you're part of this family. We really are. Sam is very warmly welcomed. I cried. Thanks, Jojo. I cried through this phone call, and Hux is no relation to me. I have grand lovies, and I can't imagine putting them through that. Hux, this grandma loves you. Always late. That is so sweet. I can't imagine it either. But think about it for a minute. My dad dropped me. Like Sam said, he erased me. That's what they do in Scientology. First time ever heard the birth story gives us a bigger picture of what you went through. Yeah. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you for sharing that with us. I can't imagine how much it hurt you, but I have to get going. Love you, B Lady. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Rosangela. Thanks, Alana. I'm glad that you're still here. I'm glad that a lot of you are still here. It was long, but I really needed to tell it. It was on my mind all day. Amy Edge, I love that your sister is back in your life. It is so beautiful. It really is. It really is. I hope to see her sometime. I really do. I hope to see her sometime. Thank you, Margie Barr. Guys, I appreciate you letting me get this out. Some days we do shows about nothing or silly stuff, and I don't even have a topic. Love you, Sherry Taylor. And some days it's like, it just hits me and I'm like, I have content. I have to talk about that. It's so weird. Some days I'll hop on here and I'm literally like, what's the topic today, guys? I got nothing. And some days I literally wake up in the morning and I'm like, open my eyes and I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk about that today. Or I'll see a reel and I'm like, that's so important to me. I have to talk about this topic. Like I get so inspired. Love you, Liz. I just get very inspired. Reese, you never have to worry about a long stream. We love being here with short or long live. We love them all. We love you, Reese. Marie Marion, I love you too. Thank you for saying that. You got to talk about when you feel inspired. And I love you too, Hope. I don't think you saw my post, but please give Hux a hug from the viruses. He deserves so much more. I will, Joe. I love you guys. Thank you for saying that. That's right, Tara Jackson. Thank you. I've got words. Thanks for staying with me. Guys, I really appreciate the time. While you're in here, again, I never gain subscribers. I only lose. If you'd be willing, please hit subscribe. It's more important to me. No, Rachel, I have not. It's way more important to me. Armine, you got to go to bed. It's way more important to me these days that you hit subscribe. I love my channel and I love the direction it's going. And the direction for me is I feel much more passionate about spreading the word about these stories because I have hundreds more that I haven't shared with you. It's just like I wasn't ready. It wasn't my time to be thinking about them. And now I feel stronger and more grounded. And so they're coming to my eyes. They're coming to light. I love you, Jojo. Love you, Trixie. And I want to share more. So please hit subscribe because it's actually important to me. Before I used to go, hit subscribe if you feel like it. And I still mean that. I mean, don't do something you don't want to do. But I feel more passionate and I then drive to want to share and use my voice for this. Thank you, Anne. On YouTube, what gets you paid? Super chats, likes, shares, views, super chats, and memberships are what pays me. So I'm not worried about losing subscribers because you don't get paid on subscribers. Tiny channels can make way more money. Thank you. I've got words than large channels. Subscriber count means absolutely nothing. Super chats, views, and when you guys join, buy a membership, that's what supports me. So again, like share this, hit subscribe. The reason I want you to hit subscribe is because it will tell you when I'm going live, and you can choose to watch or not, but I would appreciate it if you would subscribe because I want you to, yeah, YouTube takes a huge cut. Venmo Reese if you're able. Thank you, Rachel. Some people Venmo me. Yeah. I want you to subscribe, not because that pays me, but because then you'll know, you'll hit the notifications bell and you'll know when I go live. And I want to share my voice on these topics. And it's really important to do so. This is an evil cult. And Doug and Brenda Argis, I thought were the best people in this cult. Love you, Yadira. I thought they were the best. Of all of them, I was like, at least they're the most loving. They're like my parents. They love me. They care about me. Bullshit. They're both predators. Make no mistake, they're fucking evil. They are. I really believe that. Just like my dad. The only difference is my dad was evil overtly, not covertly. They're covertly evil, behind the scenes, fucking evil. And I saw that today for the very first time in full view. And I was like, we're saved, man. We don't ever have to deal with these psychotic people ever again. Yeah, Alana, it can. I don't know that that would ever happen for me anyway. Thank you for trusting and caring about us, Reese. Every story you tell might impact someone out there who needed to hear just what you said. Your loving, honest demeanor can help lots of people. And you know what, Kay? Thank you for saying that. But more importantly, what if somebody under the radar is watching? I'm not trying to save a bunch of Scientologists. That's hard to do. It's hard to get them out. But if we could just do one at a time, like, what if someone's like, holy shit, I saw that story and I couldn't look back. That's what happened to me. When I watched the Leah Remini show, I was like, I can't unsee this shit. My sister just became a member. Thank you, Sam. Wow. That's really nice. Thank you. Baby steps, you go, girl, and let us be a part of the air beneath your wings. Here for it all. I love you too, baby steps. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the super chats tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. It does support me and Huxley. I never ask. You just continue to do it. And I'm so grateful, and I want you to know that. I'm so grateful for the memberships and the super chats. But more than that, I'm grateful for your time. I'm truly grateful for your time. I mean that. That's my love language, because you sit and you hold my hand through these stories, and it's hard for me. It's hard to talk about this stuff. Good for you, Joe. No more buffets for Joe Virus. I love to hear it. Hey, Professor Kakan, because I love you. Liz Tricks, I love you too. And I'm so glad you stayed with me through this. Everyone send Reese a Venmo. Rachel, look at my little cheerleader there. Thank you, Rachel. Liz Tricks, I mean it. Thanks for sitting with me through this. And thank you for that super chat. She says, was it difficult for you to hear that, Sam? That's a good question, Candace. Honestly, that's a great question before we end, if Sam wants to answer that. Kid, I love you, Susan P. Hey, Hux. Kid, you're going to have to wait. Susan P., that was really sweet, babe. You never have to do that. Thank you. I love you. Honey Lou, catching the tail end will be on the replay. I love you, Honey Lou. I think this is an important one. Thank you for watching it, and thank you for the super chat. Sam said yes. Yes, for sure. I figured she would. I love you, Yadira. Thank you, guys. I mean it. Thank you. Thank you. This was an important story for me to get out. There's going to be so many more, because I'm getting to a point now where I can deal. Yeah, baby steps. I can, for the first time, deal with this stuff. I can look at it clearer. I can talk about it without bawling through it. And I think it's also a God thing, but I think it's also, I'm starting to see my worth. And I did not see my worth at all as a Scientologist. I totally felt like I was just, like I said, a cog in a wheel. I love you, Joel Sachs, and I see that too about you. So I think as my worth and recognizing self-care, setting boundaries for the first time is huge for me. Not having toxic people in my life, because I was full of toxicity and all of it around me in Scientology, is huge for me. So I think I'm more able to talk about this stuff, and I think these things will show themselves. Like, I had forgotten many details to that story. They were buried. Thank you, Grandma Matilda. Yeah, I understand, Joe. Thank you, Jojo. I mean it though, guys. Please hit subscribe. It's very important to me now. I want to grow my channel. She's being annoying, Sam. She's a chatty cat, and it's frustrating. She's very like, I want what I want, and I want it now. What cat is not that way? It's just really important, guys. I want to share more and more of these stories. I want this channel to mean even more. And how is that even possible? It's a very meaningful channel. It means everything to me, but I want it to, she is Just Joan. I want it to mean even more. So please help me grow it. Please help me. It's yours too. This channel has always been our channel. It's our community. Kid, and I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Is Friday. I will see you tomorrow. I have to run to the grocery store and get some stuff for Hux in the morning. But I will see you tomorrow. Mods, thank you for being here. Sam, thank you for being with me through this whole thing. I did not expect, this is a long live, guys. I didn't expect you to stay, and you always come through. I love you, Sam. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for the super chats. It helps us, Hux and I, very much. And I want you to always know I'm grateful for that. Thank you for your time. I love you guys. Here comes Fred, and I'll see you tomorrow.